Welcome back to the Maryland Hockey Network. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside Owen Korzak. And today, this is what we're dealing with. You can go to WV Video Productions YouTube channel to pull up the live video feed of this game, and then you can mute their stream and keep ours open in another tab so that you can watch the video and hear our lovely voices here back on the Maryland Hockey Network for Maryland's playoff game against the Rowan Profs. We'll pause for a moment for the national anthem here. Welcome back to Winston-Salem for the ACCHL Premier Playoffs on the Maryland Hockey Network. My name is Andy Parr, joined along Owen Korzak for Maryland's second round game against the Rowan University Profs. Owen, I know that you got a good look at this Rowan squad yesterday. What did you see in their 1-8 matchup against Delaware?
Yeah, so the way that game kind of played out, it was actually very similar to the Terps against UNC Wilmington. The issue for Delaware, though, they don't have Jack Pharisee. And it seemed like Rowan was really in control of the game the whole time. Delaware had a good number of chances, but almost all of them came off the rush. Delaware prevented a lot of sustained offensive possession from Rowan prevented a lot of sustained offensive possession for Delaware. They did a really good job. Their goalkeeper, Bobby Kennedy, made a lot of great saves. So it's not going to be a tough task for Maryland, as you would expect, to go up against a 1 seed. However, Maryland, we saw them take care of business against Rowan on the road earlier this year. And I also think that UNC Wilmington played a lot better than the way Rowan did against Delaware. And we know how Maryland did against Delaware. They won the series 2-1 this season. Should be a great game and a great goalkeeping matchup of two young, incredible netminders.
Absolutely. Jack Pharisee with 59 save shutout against UNC Wilmington yesterday. Bobby Kennedy, a 32 save shutout against Delaware, as we have an icing right off the opening faceoff just 10 seconds into this one.
Tensions are going to be flying a lot today. I don't think these two teams like each other. I know that Maryland, before the game, there was a lot of tempers flaring between some of the staff, and I think that this could lead to a much more physical game than people would expect. And already Maryland has more offensive possession than they did all of yesterday.
Yeah, we here at the Maryland Hockey Network have given our 2 cents to both the players and the coaches to get the job done today. We've got some definitely animosity with a few things that have gone on this weekend.
And I'm sure most of you parents will probably hear about it the next time Maryland has a home game.
Absolutely. So now, officially really getting into this one, Rowan trying to break out of their defensive zone here, moving up the ice. This is Max Finley. Finley circling in center. He'll carry the red line and dump it in right at Pharisee. Pharisee has to squeeze it because of the way that it bounces. He'll hold. 19-16 left in period number 1. Jack Pharisee now officially 1 save in the books there.
And for Maryland, they're going to have to contain Max Finley and Jake McLeod. Those are 2 of the top scorers in the ACCHL this year, and they are incredible for Rowan.
Face-off in the defensive zone is won by Maryland. Terps trying to carry it out. Tommy Pilkington poking at it, but this will turn into icing as he just overshot Michael Schreibman on that stretch pass to try and break out.
Not much happening so far today. 2 icing calls, 1 on each team. Both teams, not a lot of sustained offensive possession. We are only a minute and 8 seconds into this one.
Defensive zone draw is again won by Maryland and Grant Warner. Sean Amon behind the Terp net. Rowan with a takeaway, though. They're trying to get it set in the offensive zone. Michael Schreibman applying pressure. He'll push it over the blue line. Schreibman now has it in center. Schreibman into the offensive end with speed as he's checked into the boards there by R.J. Rowan. That one, though, takes a bit of a weird hop off the boards and rolls right to Bobby Kennedy. He'll take no chances and cover this one up in tight.
And yesterday for Maryland, I thought that this second line with Warner, Pilkington, and Schreibman was by far the best, even though they didn't have a lot of sustained offensive possession. No line on Maryland did. And those three were the best off of the rush. As we have a line change now, we got the third line of Mohan, Roms, and Doherty. They also played very well last night.
Yeah, Luke Mohan responsible for the only goal that beat a goaltender yesterday in Maryland's game against UNC Wilmington. As Wallace takes a shot, Roms with the rebound. A couple of saves there for Bobby Kennedy. Mohan trying to set it back up in front. That one hits off a couple of prof sticks. Doherty with the keep-in. Roms a shot that goes just high. Rowan recovering it off the boards. Mohan still poking at it, and now now here comes Rowan the other way. 3-on-2 developing, cross crease pass, shot there, and it's blocked wide. That one coming off the stick of Griffin Meyer. Out in front, going back up to the point. Rowan setting up the offense here. Shot block there for Luke Mohan, and Mohan picks it up off his leg, finding Roms. Roms carrying the red line. He'll dump it in as he's in need of a change.
That was a great first shift for that third line. They were in full control even after turning the puck over. They did a good job at not giving up any good chances to Rowan.
This is Jake McLeod for the Profs. Passes it ahead to Griffin Meyer.
And McLeod's going to be the favorite for Rookie of the Year in the ACCHL. You got to contain him.
Yep, Maryland's nominee for that award was Jack Pharisee, who had an excellent first season in net. But look out here. Takeaway in the offensive zone. Pharisee, a blocker save there on Anthony Cassis. Eli Petter plays it up the boards. Chase Wilson pokes it into neutral, and he's got Hudrin with him. Wilson, though, needs to take a change, and Hudrin will chase it in the offensive end. Jack Hudrin trying to deliver a hit there, can't quite do it. Eli Petter, though, keeps it in at the point. Around the boards, first one there is going to be Anthony Cassis for Rowan. Gets taken into the boards hard by Blake Warner right there, but Rowan comes out with the puck. This is Carter Wyatt with speed. Wyatt on the near circle. Leaves it behind the net. Eli Petter there for Maryland. Petter playing it up for Blake Warner. Warner will slowly move this one through center. Icing already waved off. Terps and Profs both changing here. Rowan attempting to start a breakout from their defensive end. Travis Duchesne nearly gloving that pass out of the air. This is Riley Rudolph for the Profs. One-on-one against Teske. Teske takes Rudolph hard into the boards there. Rudolph ends up with the puck, though. A centering pass in front, nobody home. James Body backhands this one through neutral. Icing warning up from the linesman. The other one waves it off. Dominic Riccardi back there for Rowan. Riccardi swings it around the edge. Held in at the point by Teske. Tip in front. Harnan nearly beat Bobby Kennedy right there. A great late deflection from number 17 in black. Caleb Craven keeps it in at the far point for the moment. And he does it again. Backhands it up for Duchesne. Travis Duchesne trying to feed Body inside. A couple of Profs in the way there. It's taken out by Daniel Duffy. Duffy backhands this one towards Pharisee. A bouncing puck. Pharisee will jump on top of it. 16:22 left in period number one. Still no score.
And that was a really busy shift for Rowan defenseman Riley Rudolph. Rudolph was probably the Prof's best player last night. He had a goal, and it was an incredible goal. And talking to the Rowan assistant coach, they say that they want to play positionless hockey, and he is going to be all over the ice tonight.
Rowan with an offensive zone draw win. They send the puck deep. First one there is going to be Wallace for Maryland. Wallace taken into the boards there by Riley Rudolph. Now Rowan trying to set up the offense. Behind the net, this is Brian Bowman. Bowman sending it out to the point for Rudolph. Riley Rudolph on the near point, moving to the far side. Plays it for Riccardi with a shot. Blocker save for Pharisee there. Rowan still with possession. Andrew Wallace laying the body right there on Daniel Duffy. Sean Amon now picks up the puck for the Terps. Plays it up for Pilkington. Pilkington stretches it across, and he finds the stick of Michael Schreibman. Schreibman, one-on-one, getting it on Kennedy, and he backhands it wide of the cage. Tommy Pilkington rings it around the side. First one there is Daniel Duffy of the Profs. Duffy has it taken away by Grant Warner with a shot right at Kennedy. He didn't quite see it. Schreibman in front for Pilkington. Can't get the shot off. Held in at the point by Rakowski's shot. Pilkington couldn't get the high slot tip there. Grant Warner still dangerous here. Plays it up for Petter. Long shot. Schreibman looking for the deflection. It's just out of his reach. Rowan recovers. Starting to backhand it out of their zone slowly again. Right now, Terps all over the Profs on their defensive end.
That was a really good look by the kids line there. I gave them a little bit of a name. They did a really good job at collecting rebounds and generating good chances, but look out the other way, Rowan.
This is Riley Capecci for the Profs. Capecci against Rakowskis, trying to feed a pass in front. The only one there is Luke Mohan. Mohan, he has Roms with him. Mohan taken down hard by Riley Capecci. Luke Mohan right back up, though. Riley Capecci delivering a big hit as Rowan dumps that puck into the stands, and we get a whistle.
I think that if you're going to attack a player on Maryland, they're going to respond. We saw yesterday, it was probably the most physical they played all season. Mohan got right back up. He's not afraid to deliver a hit, but watch out. Doherty for the Terps was all over the place yesterday. He's going to throw his body around if he needs to.
Yeah, Colin Doherty got slotted back into the lineup for Maryland's playoff game against UNC Wilmington. Clearly impressed the coaching staff enough with his penalty-killing abilities to stay in the lineup today. Rowan trying to break into the offensive zone here with Dimitri Thompson as he's checked off the puck by Caleb Craven. Craven going into the boards there against Josh Bianchi. Loose puck behind Pharisee. Luke Mohan, the first one there. He'll use the half wall to play it up for Romps, and Romps finds Doherty in center, but it bounces over Doherty's stick, and Capecci's back there for the Profs. Capecci up ahead to Thompson. Dimitri Thompson will dump this in from center. He's in need of a line change. Brian Teskey there for the Terps. Around the boards for Hudrin. Hudrin can't quite handle it there. Look out here for Rowan as Chase Wilson gets in the shooting lane, and Teskey will sky it through center. Foot race here. Blake Warner wins it to Nagay Nicing. Blake Warner in the offensive end. Out in front, he was looking for Wilson. Rowan got in the way there. Defensive stick from Dimitri Thompson. Rowan, though, can't establish offensive zone time, and here comes Blake Warner again for the Terps. Warner on the near circle with a long shot. That one gets blocked wide off a couple of prof sticks. Jack Hudrin delivering a light check in the corner. Patrick Harnan dumping this one in from neutral. First one back there for Rowan is Riley Rudolph. Rudolph stretching that pass across. He finds a teammate there. It's Jake McLeod. Sean Amon stalling up the Profs in center for a moment. Blake Warner trying to get this puck out as well as Patrick Harnan. Big scrum on the far side. That's about as far away from us as you can be here in this opposing broadcast booth at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Rowan comes out with the puck. Riley Rudolph starting a breakout with his defensive end. Finds McLeod. McLeod will do dump and chase. Sean Amon, the first one there. He's checked off the puck, and now Griffin Meyer has it for Rowan. Meyer playing it behind the net. Patrick Harnan gets in the way for a moment, but it's held in by Riley Rudolph. Patrick Harnan with another takeaway, though, and now here come the Terps. Travis Duchesne sends it around deep into the offensive zone. James Body against Riley Rudolph in the corner. Rudolph gets there first and plays it to Riccardi. Dominic Riccardi looking for another Rowan breakout here. Riley Rudolph, a big stretch pass there. It's going to bounce right to Pharisee again, and he covers it up. Third time that's happened this game, Owen.
Yeah, and they're doing a really good job, Maryland, at just not really giving up any clean entries for Rowan. It's been a lot of dump-ins, and a lot of rushes. There hasn't really been a lot of setting up play. So the Terps are doing a really good job, even though they might want a little bit more from their offense.
Rowan wins the offensive zone draw, trying to get it set up here with Evan Schuster. Schuster taken into the boards against Rakowskis. Rowan fishes it out with Karabassi. Schuster still behind the net, trying to wrap it around in front. Pharisee there to block off the post. Officials blow the play dead. Pharisee kept it out. A couple of extra pushing and shoving between Rakowskis and Evan Schuster there. 12:26 remaining here in period number one. Still no score between the Profs and Terps. Couple of teams who picked up shutouts in their opening round wins yesterday.
Yeah, I will say that the Pharisee shutout was far more impressive having watched both
Here we go,
games.
3-on-1 developing. Tommy Pilkington looking for a passing lane. He'll take the shot, and the rebound was just out of reach for Michael Schreibman there. Terps still trying to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Michael Schreibman poking at it, but Rowan gets it into neutral. Rowan, though, icing the puck right there. Big mistake by the Profs. It'll come all the way back down as they were trying to sneak in a line change. They're forced to keep a very tired group on the ice.
And a very tired group against probably the Terps' best line that they would want out there right now in Harnan, Pilkington, and Schreibman. They're very versatile. Water and Pilkington both play on the penalty kill, and Michael Schreibman has become a much more well-rounded player as the season's gone on.
Terps win the offensive zone draw. Teskey with a shot right into the breadbasket of Kennedy. He'll hold.
Yeah, Teskey shot there. He tried to maybe get a Warner deflection to go low. But I like what I'm seeing from Maryland so far. We're going to have a media timeout, whatever you want to, I guess a media timeout if you want to call it that.
Yeah, we don't have to take him on this Maryland Hockey Network broadcast. Owen and I can do a little bit of chit-chat with you all. Thank you so much for sticking with us this season. This has been an incredible experience. First-time play-by-play for me as the full-time guy on the Maryland Hockey Network. I've loved every second of it. Owen, your first season of color commentary, how's your experience been with MHN?
Yeah, it's been my first season with the Maryland Hockey Network and following along this team, and as a Sabres fan, not really watching a lot of good hockey my entire life. It's been a blast to watch this team do well. Yesterday's playoff win was one of my favorite hockey games I've ever watched, for no matter what the league, no matter what the stakes are, and it's just been a blast to follow along this whole season, and hopefully we'll have another game tomorrow, Andy.
Yeah, we can hope. This Profs team, the #1 seed in the ACCHL, but, I mean, I watched all of these teams in the Premier Division a lot. I was convinced UNC Wilmington was the best team I saw all season, and the Terps came in with a game plan yesterday and shut down the Seahawks, blocking a billion shots, Owen.
Yeah, and you can tell that they definitely sacrificed some offense for their defense, and that was obviously a really good decision. I mean, how many players did we see have arguably their best games of the season? Andrew Wallace
was incredible yesterday.
I also thought, like I said earlier, Doherty played a really good game. Luke Mohan obviously scored. But every single player on the Terps contributed to that win, and it was just incredible. The team deserved it, and no one deserved it more than Jack Pharisee.
I'm so glad you highlighted Andrew Wallace. That guy was a shot block machine yesterday. By far the best game he's played as a Terp. It was beautiful.
You would have to use more than two hands to count that as we get play back underway.
Terps lose the offensive zone draw, but Craven keeps it in at the far point for the moment. He'll ring it around the side. First one there is Dimitri Thompson of the Profs. Rowan, though, can't get out of the zone. Schreibman with a keep in for the moment, and now Rowan pokes it out. That was the long reach of Jonathan Kromchik, the 6'9" defenseman for the Profs. Hard to miss that guy on the ice, Owen.
Yeah, that's probably an understatement. And I saw yesterday he was using his body a lot more than we had seen earlier this year, and that's a dangerous sight.
This is Daniel Duffy dumping it into the offensive end for the Profs. Teske back there for Maryland. Brian Teske trying to feed Grant Warner there. Rowan keeps it in at the point. Long range shot there, finding the stick of Jack Pharisee. That one came off of Max Finley. Brian Teske takes Brian Bowman into the boards. Grant Warner will ring it around the side, but John Kromchik is there for the Profs. Behind the net, Brian Bowman has it again. It rolls right to Pharisee quite dangerously. Number 32 in black wisely jumps on top of that puck before any danger occurs.
And I like what I saw from that second line again, this time on the other side of the ice. Tommy Pilkington and Grant Warner both doing a really good job defensively here so far. We're approaching the halfway point of the period. Maryland is technically getting outshot, but I feel like they've had more sustained offense than Rowan has.
They've definitely had more sustained offense, and their scoring chances have been much more high danger than what Rowan's put up so far.
That's
Rowan offside
yeah.
right there.
And guess who set that up? That was Colin Doherty. And a fantastic play there to kind of tie up one of the Profs and obviously force the offsides. Maryland now with their best face-off artist in Luke Mohan coming up, and they have a chance with a rush the other way. We know Doherty and Cam Horan play very similar styles, but Doherty probably brings a little bit more of an offensive presence than Horan would.
Yeah, that was Dominic Riccardi who got tied up with Colin Doherty to force an offside right there. Terps trying to get set in the offensive zone, take away by the Profs. This is Bianchi. Bianchi feeding it through center. Hit. A good hit from Luke Mohan to set it up the other way for a moment. Riccardi's still back there and plays it over for Rudolph. Great play from Mohan, though, to stall up an odd man rush opportunity. Sean Amon plays it into the corner. James Romps picks it up off the boards. A couple of Terps still poking at the puck, but Rowan ends up with it. Sean Amon with a shot block right there, getting in the lane of Ryan O'Donnell. Rowan playing catch in their defensive zone, trying to get anything going in the offensive end, but that's going to turn into icing as Riley Rudolph missed the stick of O'Donnell right there.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Terps. I mean, their forecheck has been really well, and that's why we've seen so many icings early. It's just seems like a matter of time before the Terps finally convert, maybe here with the fourth line of Wilson, Warner, and Hudrin.
Potentially a set piece for Blake Warner off this face-off as he nearly ripped it right there. Blake Warner, yep.
He bobbled the puck a little bit. It would have been a huge hit. Oh, we get a huge hit.
Jack Hudrin trying to play it down low for Chase Wilson as he and Capecci kind of push at each other a little bit. Riccardi picks it up for Rowan, plays it ahead for Capecci. Capecci couldn't find it, though, and Jack Hudrin says thank you very much, dumping it back into the offensive end.
They might have numbers here. Ooh, a big hit there.
Blake Warner, a crunching hit on the boards right there against Bianchi. Warner plays it in front. Hudrin, a shot blocked down by Capecci. Still at the point. Petter, long shot, score! Eli Petter, first goal against for Rowan, comes at the hands of Maryland. 1-0 Terps.
That was Petter at the point. It was incredible passing plays by the Terps. Blake Warner with a great job to get down low behind the red line, forced a great pass to Wilson. I'm surprised he wasn't able to turn it home. It got blocked. Rebound was recovered by Petter. He had Rakowskis open for a one-timer, decides to shoot, ends up being the right decision. Maryland strikes first, and that's the first goal Bobby Kennedy has given up this postseason.
You and I were talking about it just before that. Despite Rowan outshooting Maryland, Maryland by far was doing better at sustained offensive zone possession and keeping the pressure on the Profs. Right there, Eli Petter finds the soft spot and just rips a wrister past a screen Bobby Kennedy. Great offensive execution there from the Terps.
And Petter's another player who's coming off of an incredible game. And for Eli Petter, it's almost better when you don't notice him. And right there, we certainly noticed him. And he made a huge play and maybe one of the game-defining plays. We'll have to see how the rest pays off as we are 11 minutes into this first period.
James Body trying to poke this one out of the defensive zone, still working one-on-one against Meyer there, and Body finishes the job, forcing Rowan back into neutral. Dump in there by Nick Thomas, picked up by Eli Petter. Petter off the boards for Body. James Body will play this off the half wall. Patrick Harnan trying to deliver a check right there. A little bit too short to hit John Kromchik. Patrick Harnan kicks it into the offensive zone, Body in the corner. Body plays it around the net. First one there is going to be Thompson of the Profs. Thompson taken into the boards by Harnan. Thompson is able to play it over to a teammate there. Now here comes Rowan again. This is Cassis. Cassis in the offensive zone with Schuster. Pharisee out of his net to play this puck. Leaves for Teskey.
That was a dangerous play by Pharisee going out of his net. There were about 3 Profs in pursuit.
I don't know if anything scares Jack Pharisee after what he went through yesterday.
maybe doing that all over again.
I have a feeling he doesn't want to face 59 shots again tonight. Rowan trying to feed something here. John Kromchik was fresh off the bench and couldn't get to that puck first. Schreibman had a step on a couple of guys, but got stalled up there. A poke check by John Kromchik to stall up a breakaway chance. Grant Warner into the offensive zone, just staying onside there. Playing it down deep. Tommy Pilkington on the far corner. Back up to the point, it's Craven. Caleb Craven, a long shot, kicked aside by Kennedy. Teskey picks up the rebound, stick save for Kennedy there. Kromchik picks it up in front of the net. Schreibman's still there trying to poke at it. Tommy Pilkington with a keep in. Schreibman plays it even deeper for Pilkington again. Pilkington trying to leave for Warner. Pilkington one-on-one against Kromchik. Pilkington wins that battle around the boards to Schreibman. Skip one for Amon. Schreibman back down low to Pilkington. Tommy Pilkington one-on-one against Schuster. Schuster gets it out, but Amon keeps it in. Amon a shot saved by Kennedy, and he'll squeeze against Grant Warner as Warner and Kromchik were getting into it right in front of Bobby Kennedy there.
Now, Kromchik is obviously one of the largest players in the league, but him upsetting Grant Warner is not a good idea considering the second biggest might be Grant Warner's older brother, Blake.
Yeah, if there's one guy that you don't want to mess with on the Terps, first of all, it's Blake Warner, and then right after that, it's Grant, because if anybody touches his younger brother, you're going to have the big 6'7", number 25 barreling at you your next shift.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Terps so far here. Obviously, they have the lead, but like you said, the shot attempts for the Terps have been significantly better and more high danger than the Profs.
Yeah, very different game style to what they played yesterday against Wilmington, going defense first. Right now, Maryland getting good offensive zone time. But look out here. Broman with a chance in front, and Duffy couldn't scout the rebound by Pharisee. Pharisee without a stick. Long-range shot there by Riley Rudolph. Gets blocked down in front. James Romps poking at it. Romps backhands it back into neutral. Terps survive that quick scare. That one glances off of the mask of Patty Adams, who's sitting on the Maryland bench, so we got a whistle here.
And that was the Profs' best chance of the day. Daniel Duffy, the puck rolled right to him. And all he had to do was just tap it once, and it was probably going to even things up here. But instead he whiffed on it. Maryland stays ahead, 6:43 to go in the first period.
Yes, Danny Downey is on Delaware, I believe.
Yeah, I called Delaware's game last night against Rowan conveniently, and so I'm getting the names mixed up. I apologize. I also apologize if I sound a bit stuffy. Oh, my goodness, Blake Warner just killed someone.
Yeah, Blake Warner with a huge check on Riley Rudolph there. That was not who was going after Grant Warner before, but Blake Warner still not afraid to hit anybody on the ice.
As I was saying, I apologize if I sound a little stuffy. I just had a bloody nose about 5 minutes before puck drop, so I'm still recovering a little bit.
Blake Warner deflects that one at the blue line, so no ice here. Bobby Kennedy leaves to Rudolph. Riley Rudolph plays it up ahead for O'Donnell. O'Donnell, stick check there by Harnan. O'Donnell still able to get around him for a moment. Rakowskis trying to keep a sliding play right there to force it back into center. Patrick Harnan one-on-one against Riccardi right there. James Body joins the fight, and he's able to dump it into the offensive end for the Terps. Capecci trying to get around Duchesne. He chooses to play it to O'Connell. Now up ahead, this is Bianchi. Bianchi, a long shot, well wide of Pharisee.
And Bianchi was one of the profs who scored last night. He's also one of the players who is averaging more than a point per game. Here he goes the other way.
Bianchi on the far circle. Bianchi in front. Pharisee with the save. That rebound was loose for a second, but Pharisee able to grab it with the glove. 5:33 left here in period number 1, and a reminder to folks who are new to the stream, you can keep our audio on and then go to the YouTube channel WV Video Productions to get the live video. Mute that stream and hear our audio, and you'll be able to have a full kind of Maryland Hockey Network broadcast. Puck skips over a stick there, and here comes Schreibman one-on-one. Schreibman on the far circle. Schreibman trying to loop around the net. He's getting a little bit hooked on the hands right there. Looking back for a call, nothing there. Rowan the other way with McLeod. Jake McLeod. Long-range shot gets blocked down by Caleb Craven, and he blaze it into the far corner.
Well, they got numbers the
Michael
other way.
Schreibman with numbers. He's got Warner with him. Grant Warner into the offensive end. Warner looking for Pilkington. It's blocked down by Rowan, and now Rowan might have an on-man rush the other way. 3-on-2 developing. Cross-crease pass, and the finishing touch couldn't be put on by Nick Thomas. McLeod behind the net. Schreibman there for Maryland. Gets caught up in a couple of skates. Teskey picks it up in the corner. Leaves to Grant Warner. A little bit of run-and-gun hockey right there. Definitely not what Maryland wants to do against this Rowan squad.
Yeah, they will make you pay. They have about 8 players who average at least a point per game, and they will make you pay. I just said that twice. Excuse me. I apologize.
Sean Amon plays it up for Mohan. Mohan for Doherty. Doherty into the offensive zone with Romps. He can't quite get around there, but penalty upcoming on Rowan. And Maryland appears to be headed to the power play right here as Luke Mohan got hit in the hands.
Guess who kind of set that play up? It was Doherty, and Doherty is having himself a playoff. I mean, you talk about players who raise their game as the stakes get higher. It's appearing that Doherty is going to be one of those, but an early opportunity on the power play for Maryland. And I will say Rowan did have a shorthanded goal last night, so this is something you've got to be extremely careful about if you're Maryland. You'd almost rather walk away being a little bit more conservative and taking this lead into the second period.
And
we have
look
a
out here.
major.
They put a 5-minute major on the board against Karabassi. Officials going off the ice to review it and make sure that the 5 minutes is the right call. Real time, I thought that appeared to just be a standard 2-minute kind of big hit. Maybe they called it a hit to the head, and that would be a 5-minute penalty if it was aggressive.
And that would be huge for Maryland because they would have the chance to, go to the buffet all you can eat, and they would also be taking this power play into the next period.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will have word in a moment, but
there was one 5-minute major called yesterday, and upon review, the officials did change it to a 2-minute minor.
And that was in the absolute electric Wake Forest versus Penn State game, and
that did not want to end.
Did not want to end. That game went into double overtime. But I will say something that was just absolutely unreal was the Wake Forest student section. It would
absolutely
be incredible to get a student section like that at the Gardens Ice House. However, we'll say that the Fairgrounds Ice Arena in Winston-Salem, it's practically on campus.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite arena that the Terps have played in this season. This place is awesome.
It's a huge arena, and it's home to a semi-pro team.
Yes, the Twin City Thunderbirds who play in the Fed.
And to Bridget Parr, Andy.
Yeah, my mother.
I'd like to thank you for the comment. It helps us out a little bit, but yeah, as we were saying, the Penn State-Wake Forest game was electric. The student
officials
section
have made their
like
decision. They're coming back out onto the ice. We'll see what the call is. And it looks like they're going to take Karabassi out of the box entirely.
Wow, I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can have a 5-minute major be overturned to not a penalty at all. I have never seen that in my entire life.
It's not the most uncommon thing. If they had called it a 2, it would be non-reviewable. That's what I thought it was real time. Officials going over to Joe Carter. He does not seem pleased with the explanation.
And neither is assistant coach John Wheatman.
Maryland getting the explanation from the referees. Again, the initial call on the ice was a check to the head and a 5-minute major. Upon review, they take off the penalty entirely. Joe Carter, a little bit hot on this Terps bench now. He'll send his 4th line out onto the ice. bit of a modified fourth line. Dominic Facciano taking the place of Jack Hudron on the right wing here.
Hey, if you want somebody who you don't want to make upset, that's Blake Warner.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a chance. Maybe a setup play for him.
Face-off, though, won by Rowan in the defensive end, and the Profs will clear it into center. First one back there is going to be Blake Warner for Maryland. Warner backhands this one back into neutral. First one there is Dimitri Thompson. Thompson in his own end, long pass there, nobody home. Foot race here, and it'll be no icing. Out in front, Rudolph a shot, saved by Pharisee. Rebound still loose in front, and now it's back in the corner as the referee loses his footing to Pharisee's right.
He blew a tire.
Down low, Caleb Craven collecting this puck for Maryland. Craven up ahead for Blake Warner. Warner a pass there for Facciano. He's able to tip it forward, but only gets as far as Wyatt. Carter Wyatt gets checked off the puck there by Blake Warner. Pharisee will tap this one forward to Craven. Back over to Amon. Again up for Craven. Caleb Craven on those far boards. Rowan still with the puck in the offensive zone. Thompson a shot that goes wide. Finley feeding it in front. Save Pharisee, rebound, score. Nick Thomas gets the rebound behind Pharisee, poking it through the 5-hole. We're tied at 1.
Yeah, and a rare mistake there from Pharisee. He just couldn't see the puck, and he had a chance to cover it up earlier in the play. He didn't. Puck rolled around. Rowan is able to convert, and now what looked like Maryland was going to be on the power play for the rest of the period, and Joe Carter might be challenging this for maybe goaltender interference.
Yes, but all coaches are allowed to request reviews here in playoff games. We have 13 cameras in the arena. Joe Carter talking to a linesman right now. Linesman talking back with Carter. We'll see what happens here. They say play on. Carter ultimately choosing not to review the play.
Yeah, I don't think that he would. I don't think it's the right decision to review it now. You got 2 periods left. If there's a much bigger call in the moment, you want to save that challenge.
Terps now tied with the Profs. James Body deflects this one past the red line. No ice here. Back there for Rowan is Riccardi. Harnan, though, as Riccardi misplayed it, will leave it for Duchesne. In the corner, Nick Thomas, who just scored for Rowan, picks it up and plays it around for Rudolph. Riley Rudolph up for McLeod. McLeod trying to get around Meyer. He can't get it by Amon. Patrick Harnan trying to feed it in the center. Nobody home except Griffin Meyer of Rowan. Now this is Thomas. Nick Thomas will send this around the side. Riley Rudolph and Sean Amon one-on-one into the boards. Amon working around Rudolph. Amon picking up speed in neutral, but he loses it. Now here's Riley Capecci. Capecci behind Maryland's net. Capecci looking for a passing lane. He'll take the shot from the far circle. It gets blocked down in front. Still loose behind the net. Schreibman wisely picks that up for Maryland.
And icing's waved off.
Icing waved off as it's picked up by R.J. Rowan of the Profs. Rowan loses it for a moment in neutral, and now he'll just give it up to Eli Petter. Petter playing this one forward, but it clicks off the glass and into the penalty box, so this will go into Maryland's defensive end.
Chip's got to settle down a little bit. It seemed like they got a little antsy after that first goal. Got to come back down to how they were playing the first 7 or 8 minutes of this game, and chances will come their way. But it's been a while. I feel like the last time they've had a good chance was the goal that Petter scored.
Yeah, Maryland seeming a little bit deflated after that 5-minute major was taking off the board. Rowan taking advantage of that little shift in momentum, and they win an offensive zone faceoff here. At the point, this is Robinson. Robinson plays it to the side for Capecci. Capecci facing some pressure there from Petter. That shot is blocked by Body really high up, but it stays in play. Bianchi inside. Capecci, a shot saved by Pharisee. Rebound kept out of harm's way by Grant Warner. Body will play this into neutral where it's picked up again by Rowand. R.J. Rowand going into the offensive zone, trying to get around Rakowskis. He can't do it right there. Jack Rakowskis right in front of Pharisee. Grant Warner will wisely send that puck into the corner. Bianchi with it for Rowan. Bianchi facing some pressure from Schreibman. Schreibman able to pick it up and push it into center. Grant Warner, he's got Pilkington with him. Warner taken down. Pilkington, the rebound, it goes just wide.
How is that not a penalty? He got tackled on the rush. I mean,
that seemed like a clear hook at least.
I feel like when you look up hook in the dictionary, that's what you'll get.
Schreibman trying to play it out for the point. Tommy Pilkington just not able to corral that puck, and it goes all the way down to Pharisee. Pharisee leaves it for Craven. Up for Teskey. Brian Teskey trying to hit a stretch pass there with Pilkington. It explodes off his stick, and Rowan's in the other way. Caleb Craven one-on-one against Bowman. Leaves for Downey. Downey a shot and a save there. Or sorry, Duffy. I made the same mistake as you, Owen. 16 Romps. Plays it up for Pilkington. Rowan in their defensive end. It's held in by Teskey on the clearing attempt. Teskey plays it around for Mohan. Mohan one-on-one against Kromchik. Kromchik gets the better of him, and Thompson picks up the puck for Rowan. 39 seconds left in the period. Max Findlay with it for the Profs. Findlay one-on-one against Teskey. They both go into the boards. It leaves out for Duffy. Turnover here. Colin Doherty gets it into neutral with Romps. Romps kicks it forward to Doherty. Doherty can't handle it cleanly. Mohan trying to feed it back into the offensive zone. Rowan with another pickoff. They'll clear and change. Sean Amon with 15 seconds to go in the frame. Colin Doherty unable to deflect that one, so this will turn into an icing with 12.9 left in the first period. Defensive zone draw upcoming for the Terps.
Maryland's done a much better job since they've gotten back. I really don't understand how they didn't call a hook on the Warner kind of break. It was an odd man rush, at least him and Pilkington.
Yeah, it was a 2-on-1 with him and Pilkington.
He got completely tackled. I don't understand how you don't call that in this type of game.
Big-time playoff game. Officials deciding to let them play to the whistles as a shot there from Riccardi goes wide. Amon picks up the rebound off the boards. Amon sends it into neutral. This will probably kill out the rest of the clock as Riccardi skates it back into his defensive end. After one in Winston-Salem, it's Terps 1, Profs 1 in the 1-7 matchup.
You got to like what you saw from Maryland there, obviously. There was a bit of a 4-minute stretch where they really didn't do much, and obviously Rowan was able to find the equalizer. But overall, a solid period of play. I think that if they replicate the way that they played this period, good things will happen. So we'll have to see what adjustments Coach Joe Carter makes, see what adjustments Rowan makes, but you got to be happy with that period, right, Andy?
Absolutely. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second period of play here on the Maryland Hockey Network. Please don't go anywhere for our radio broadcast of this playoff game.
Terps fans, hello. Thank you for joining us on our abbreviated radio broadcast, but we have no visuals for tonight except for me, so hope that's good enough. I'm here with your first intermission report. Game currently tied 1-1. The number 7 seeded Maryland taking on the big gun number 1 Rowan, but this game has been pretty much as even as you can get, at least scoring-wise. Maryland getting on the board first with a goal by Eli Petter, the freshman, right from the point off of some good sustained offensive pressure, but Rowan able to respond a few minutes later with their captain, Nick Thomas, getting the first one in past Pharisee in 2 games now. But still, after that full 20 shots on goal, favoring Rowan 11-6, but Maryland still showing some really good promise in that offensive zone. They're able to really keep that pressure on when they get the chance to. No power plays or penalties yet to kill. But regardless, again, the Terps have absolutely come to play. They knew that one of the toughest teams they were going to have to take down was Wilmington last night. So after talking to some of the guys, they said that that was the hardest team in this entire tournament. And if they can beat them, they can beat anybody. And they have, in fact, beat the Profs before. So ending this period 1-1, no real slip-ups from the Terps to report on. Definitely, game is still in play, and I'm feeling good about it. So, folks, please stay tuned for this radio broadcast brought to you by the Maryland Hockey Network live from Winston-Salem. And we will see you in just about 10 minutes for the start of the second period.
Welcome back to this presentation of Maryland Hockey Network Radio here on the Maryland Hockey Network for the Terps playoff game, round 2 against the Rowan Profs. Your score at the start of the second period, 1-1. Shots on goal, 11-6 in favor of the Profs. But, Owen, that really doesn't tell the story of how well Maryland played in that opening frame.
Yeah, I think the shot numbers this whole weekend are definitely inflated. So Pharisee, probably not a 59-save shutout, but he still had a lot of saves.
Hey, it goes in the book as a 59-save shutout.
Maryland played fantastic in that first period, and even though Rowan had more chances, according to the score sheet, Maryland definitely had a lot more chances. Oh, we got a little bit of post-whistle action between Craven and Duffy, excuse me.
Yeah, you and I are both going to be making that mistake all game,
yeah,
I think.
But as I was...
Because Downey also wears 29 on Delaware, right?
It's just a little beauty. It just, as I was saying, yeah, Maryland, it's going to say 12-6 shots. Their chances have been great. Rowan's have not. The one goal is probably one that Pharisee wants back. So Maryland, if they continue to play the way they did, that first 10 minutes or so, and then probably the last 2 or 3 minutes of that first period, should be a positive result for the Terps.
Absolutely. Rowan trying to set things up in the offensive zone here. Caleb Craven with a takeaway behind the net, being forced into the boards there by Finley. Craven able to play it around the side. Teskey poking it further, but Riley Rudolph holds it right now for the Profs. Riley Rudolph hit hard there by Teskey. Profs still dangerous with Bowman. Bowman sending it out to the side. Nobody home initially. Now Riley Rudolph has it behind the net again. He'll push it forward. Caleb Craven there for the Terps. Craven using the half wall, plays it up for Body. Body one touch to Duchesne. Duchesne plays it into neutral. Rowan will be forced to reset here, and now another delayed offside on the Profs as Pharisee goes out to leave it for Teskey. Brian Teskey with fresh forwards on the ice, has a stretch pass there. Body gets a chunk of it, so no icing. Caleb Craven picking it up in neutral for Maryland, trying to get it around R.J. Rowan, but he can't. Rowan coming into the offensive zone with a shot. That one goes wide at Pharisee.
That one was close. That was a great shot from Rowan.
Maryland now trying to pick up speed the other way. This is Grant Warner. Warner one-on-one there against Robinson. Drops to Schreibman. Schreibman moving to the slot. Schreibman on the near circle with a shot in front. Saved by Kennedy. Grant Warner was getting tied up by Bianchi and couldn't get to the rebound there. Xander Robinson now for Rowan. He'll dump that into the offensive zone as he is hit hard by Michael Schreibman. Around the boards, Riley Capecci picks it up for the Pros. He sends that one towards Pharisee. It goes wide of the cage. Xander Robinson, that one floats well wide, and Capecci will pick it up on the far circle. But Eli Petter beats him to the puck there, and he pushes it into center yet again. R.J. Rowan dumping it in for the Profs. Off the boards, it's collected by Jack Rakowskis. Rakowskis up ahead for Pilkington. Pilkington trying to get around one right there, loses the foot race, and now here comes McLeod. Jake McLeod with a shot. That's blocked by Rakowskis. Loose in front. Grant Warner picks it up before Meyer can take the shot. Kept it at the point by Wyatt. That shot is kicked aside by Pharisee. The rebound nearly dangerous off the boards there. Tommy Pilkington with a pass. That's read by McLeod. He'll keep it in on the far circle. Deflected there by Rakowskis. Does not go out of play, though.
We're 3 minutes in, and they have only had one line change. They've got to get fresh legs on the ice. They've got to do something to get this puck out of the zone. Great play there by Warner to do that for the moment.
Grant Warner gets it into neutral. Michael Schreibman picking it up again. Schreibman, though, loses it to Nick Thomas, and now Rowan has numbers the other way, 3-on-2 developing. Across. McLeod the shot, stick save for Pharisee. Meyer has it in the corner. He'll play it around the boards for Thomas. Back to the other side, it's McLeod again on the far circle in front. Meyer save, rebound off the post for Thomas.
How did he save that?
That one off the post there for Nick Thomas. Kromchik across for Wyatt. Wyatt sends that one down low. Terps very tired on the ice. Pilkington wisely sends that one over the glass as he's in desperate need of a change and delay of game. Not a penalty in this league, Owen.
Thank goodness, because that was looking like a for sure 2-minute minor if this is the NHL. And you still got a lot of tired skaters out. I mean,
you do still have to keep the skaters on the ice if you commit what would have been a delay of game. Sorry.
You have one new skater out there. That's Luke Mohan.
Mohan was able to get off with Warner in that last play in neutral.
Got to do something to get these guys off the ice. Even Petter and Rakowskis have been out there forever.
Rakowskis trying to play it around the boards. McLeod there for Rowan. Mohan with a poke at the point. It's held in by Rowan again. In the corner, Tommy Pilkington able to backhand that one softly into center, and Schreibman picks it up. But Rowan with another takeaway. Eli Petter sending it down. It'll be right at Kennedy, no ice. Terps finally able to change.
Thank goodness. They kind of got lucked out there. Oh, turnover.
Turnover here. Mohan across. Blake Water, a shot saved by Kennedy in tight. Rowan, icing warning up here. Sean Amon, though, able to play that puck, so it gets waved off. Around the boards to Wallace. Andrew Wallace one-on-one there. Plays it up for Mohan. Mohan on the boards will send it backwards. It skips over Wallace's stick. He leaves to Amon. Sean Amon finds Blake Warner. Warner trying to play it forward. He can't quite do it there. It's Brian Bowman for Rowan. Bowman sending it down low. Wallace there for Maryland. Wallace up ahead, gets it over the blue line as he's hit into the boards there by Karabasi. Rowan trying to hit a stretch pass there. That one unable to be collected cleanly, and Andrew Wallace back there for the Terps.
Oh, the official was in the way there. He had a breakout pass. Thank God.
Jack Pharisee
made the save, but I mean Wallace had a maybe a potential odd man rush for the Terps, and the official was right in the way.
Yep, Andrew Wallace gave a little what for to the official on his way off the ice. He knew that he had a breakout pass for a 3-on-2 developing there. The official gets in the way, and it turns into a scoring chance for Max Finley.
Had that been a goal, I think the Maryland bench would have
certainly been
furious. Joe Carter might have maybe said a few words that would have to be censored, but my goodness, that was crisis averted for the Terps.
Brian Teskey rings it around the side. Jack Hudron able to poke it into neutral. Back there for Rowan is Xander Robinson. Robinson, stretch pass there. It's deflected by Duffy, or no, it's not. They call it an icing. It looked like Duffy got a chunk of that. Linesmen disagree.
Here's the best chance for the Terps now. You obviously had the turnover where Mohan found Warner in the slot, and it was a save, but you haven't had any sustained offensive possession here so far in this period. You got one shot on net. This is a huge chance for this first line to get something going.
Patrick Harnan taking an offensive zone draw here against Downey. Or Duffy. Gosh darn it.
Like that all game.
I'm going to be doing that all game. If I say Downey, just know it's actually Daniel Duffy. Caleb Craven is defensive end, plays it up for Teskey. Teskey trying to split the middle there. The only one there, Brian Bowman of the Profs. Bowman, one-on-one against Teskey. Teskey, a good stick check there. Muffled shot by Bowman is kicked aside by Pharisee. James Body trying to get it out. Right in front, Bowman with the takeaway and a blocked shot down low. Another long-range shot goes well high. That one coming off the stick of Duffy. Travis Duchesne gets it on the far side, trying to spring a pass there. It's deflected by a Prof stick. Pharisee comes up with a stick save and knocks it out of play. Long-range point shot coming from Dimitri Thompson there.
There needs to be some momentum shift for the Terps right now. They are kind of playing just gassed right now. It doesn't seem like they have any excitement right now. They've got to get something that'll just bring them back into it mentally, I think. Big hit or something. They got the kids line out there. Maybe they can generate a rush or something. Maybe some chances. They were out here for a long time the last time they were on the ice.
In-arena shots, 6-2 in favor of Rowan for this period. And we're only a little over 5 minutes old. Maryland wins the defensive zone draw, but Kromchik picks it up in center for the Profs. He'll send it back in. Tommy Pilkington there for Maryland. Pilkington slowly moves it for Rakowskis. Jack Rakowskis back over for Petter. Eli Petter, Maryland's goal scorer, playing it off the glass back into center. Kromchik there for Rowan. Kromchik back skating. Eli Petter unable to take that pass, but it turns into an icing on Rowan as Petter was unable to touch it.
Kromchik not happy with that call, but it was the right call. I mean, I don't know what else you're going to argue. I mean,
Eli Petter definitely did not touch that puck.
He didn't have to touch it. I mean, it went right by him, and it was an icing. So you can be mad if you want, but this is where this kids line kind of thrives in the offensive zone. Let's see if they can take some pressure off the Terps defense.
Griffin Meyer wins the face-off against Warner, and it'll immediately be skied into center by Carter Wyatt. Terps trying to go dump and chase here. Kromchik back there for Rowan, and now here comes Wyatt again. Wyatt has that pass knock off a couple of Terps skates. Rakowskis will play it back into center. That one nearly overplayed by Wyatt. Schreibman takes him into the boards. Terps trying to get established in the offensive zone. Schreibman still fighting for that puck.
Help.
Big scrum. Grant Warner poking at it, and it squirts out in Rowan's favor. This is McLeod. McLeod, that play barely onside for Griffin Meyer, and Eli Petter blocks the shot and picks up the puck. Eli Petter, 3-on-2 developing, leaves for Schreibman. Schreibman for a circle shot and a blocker save by Kennedy. Tommy Pilkington trying to pick up that puck. He can. Now Nick Thomas in 1-on-2 for Rowan. Thomas with a shot. That one's blocked by Warner and nearly turned into a deflection on Pharisee as he squeezes. Griffin Meyer coming into Pharisee after he held that puck. Maryland not too pleased with that at all.
Going back to that 3-on-2, it was a great shot from Schreibman, a good play there by Bobby Kennedy to make the save, but it seemed like Pilkington was kind of going more towards the net. I think if he stayed in his lane, he would have been able to tap it in off the rebound, but you got to like what you're seeing from the Terps. They're finally starting to settle in this period. It's exactly what you want.
Took a couple of minutes for them to get their skating legs under them, but Maryland's been the better team the last 2 or so minutes of play.
And that'll be kind of inflated considering, there was a –
Here comes Doherty. Doherty coming in, a shot, and it's blocked out of play by Riley Rudolph. Got a defensive stick in the shooting lane there.
Yeah, but what I was saying is, how long was the same 5 skaters out for the Terps? I mean, it was a really long time that they just were unable to get a change, and I think that kind of inflated some stats for Rowan. Obviously, they did a good job at not letting Maryland get a change, but ever since the Terps were able to get that line change, they've been back in it.
Luke Mohan taking another offensive zone faceoff for the Terps. Off the tie-up, it goes in Rowan's favor with Capecci. Riley Capecci, he has O'Donnell with him. Capecci one-on-one against Wallace. Great play by Andrew Wallace there, forcing Capecci on the side. Bad pass there from Rowan, but it works out in their favor as Bianchi picks up a loose puck. Sean Amon backhands it around the side. James Romps there for the Terps. Romps facing a lot of pressure, though. Will have to leave it for Wallace. Wallace getting a lot of pressure on that one. Doherty able to finally play it into center. Aggressive forechecking there from the profs. Terps get away with it. This is Rudolph. Rudolph up ahead to Capecci. Capecci inside for Bianchi. One more. Rudolph a backhand and a save by Pharisee in tight. And Riley Rudolph gave an extra slap at number 32 in black there.
Andrew Wallace has been the most vocal I think I've ever seen him in his career today alone. This is the 3rd or 4th time this period that he has been, going after a prof. I mean, they are giving Pharisee some snow, giving him some words. Wallace doesn't like that. He's doing a good job sticking up for his netminder.
It's round 2 game here in the ACCHL Premier Playoffs. Has a video stream on the YouTube channel, WV Video Productions. Please tune into that channel, mute their audio, and keep ours playing in the background. We love to have our voices heard by Terps faithful. Now here comes Caleb Craven, a shot. That one's blocked wide. Xander Robinson in his own end leaves it behind the net, but Blake Warner there for the Terps, trying to get established in the offensive zone. He'll cycle it for Wilson. Wilson, though, can't handle it cleanly. Caleb Craven trying to come in on Robinson, and Robinson gets it into center. Rowan into the offensive zone as Brian Teskey delivers a big hit there. That time he took down Anthony Cassis. Rowan sends that puck into the corner. Caleb Craven there for the Terps. He'll backhand it for Teskey. Brian Teskey looking for options, finds Blake Warner. One more touch to Hudrin. Jack Hudrin gets over the blue line with Wilson. Everybody changing for the Terps. Rowan trying to catch him in transition here, but the referee in the way again. It's happened to both teams now. Jack Rakowskis trying to force his way in the offensive zone. Can't quite get around Matthew Karabassi right there.
Nice play by Rakowskis, just driving Karabassi into the board.
Now Eli Petter motoring in the defensive end. Long pass there, deflected by Body, no ice. Behind the net, Rowan picks it up. Patrick Harnan applying a forecheck, Body with the keep in down low. Travis Duchesne on this near circle. Duchesne. Inside. Harnan. A shot there is blocked down in front by Duffy. Rowan picking up that rebound. Here they come. This is Finley. 3-on-2 developing. Finley across. A great defensive stick from Rakowskis. And now here comes Harnan. The two Boston boys working together right there. Jack Rakowskis, a long shot, is blocked before it ever got to Kennedy. Picked up by Thompson. Dimitri Thompson around the boards. It's held in for the moment by Duchesne. Duchesne down low to Body. James Body, a nice check there behind the net to take down Carter Wyatt and keep possession for a moment. Harnan up to the point. Long shot there from Wallace. Save. Rebound Body as he's still falling down. Can't get it around Kennedy.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play by Kennedy. Body was right there at the back door for the rebound, and a great job there by Kennedy following it the whole way through.
Really smart shot from Andrew Wallace, too. Left it low to Lake of rebound. Very juicy. Bowman getting inside. Can't keep the shot on net there. Carter Wyatt at the far point with a shot. Never got all the way to Pharisee. Wyatt again will sump this in from the far point. Around the boards. Picked up by Tommy Pilkington. Pilkington, though, can't find a teammate. Rowan looking for something inside. Andrew Wallace gets in that shooting lane. Wallace plays it off the glass. This one might have a little bit too much pace for his liking, though. And, yes, it turns into icing as Riley Rudolph beats out Michael Schreibman to the dot.
Yeah, the Terps are finally, they are kind of in the driver's seat right now. It seems like past 4 or 5 chances have gone the Terps, favored the Terps more than they have the Profs. So a lot of time left, but Maryland, they're doing a good job at staying in this one.
Defensive zone draw is won by Grant Warner. Michael Schreibman, though, can't get it over the blue line. Now Wallace can't get it out either. Keep in for McLeod with a shot. That one goes high over Pharisee's head.
I think Wallace might have got a piece of that.
Sean Amon collecting the puck behind Pharisee's cage. He'll backhand this one in center. This appears to be another icing against Maryland, and it gets all the way down. Still 1-1 here in the second period of play. Shots on goal, 19-11 in favor of Rowan. 9:49 left in period number 2.
Terps are finding themselves now in a similar situation to what they were in beginning of the period. They just can't get this group of 5 skaters off the ice.
Face off here, won by Rowan in the offensive zone. At the point, it's Riccardi. Across, shot from Rudolph goes high. Dominic Riccardi taken into the boards there by Pilkington. Grant Warner trying to collect the puck on these in this near corner. Griffin Meyer picks it up behind the Maryland net. Out in front dangerously, Tommy Pilkington able to collect it. Now here comes Michael Schreibman trying to get a step around Rudolph. Schreibman plays it forward. Dominic Riccardi there for the Profs.
A terrific burst of speed by Schreibman. It kind of forced Rowan into some quicker adjustments, but
Delayed offside on Maryland, now washed out.
to have been that effective with his legs, Michael Schreibman, after being on the ice for about 2 minutes, it's quite an incredible feat.
Yeah, that kid line has had a lot of long shifts this period. At the point, this is Craven, a long shot and a good high slot tip there from Luke Mohan.
That was nearly in, just wide.
James Romps cycling behind the net, but Riley Rudolph beats him to the puck there. Rudolph backhands it around the boards. Jake McLeod there for Rowan, but it's held in by Teske. Teske taking the shot. It's blocked down by McLeod. McLeod can't get it around Teske again. Griffin Meyer, though, able to get it over Doherty's head. Teske picks it up in center. We'll send it right back at Kennedy's end of the ice. Riley Rudolph playing it up for Thomas. Nick Thomas getting a breakout going for Rowan here. He finds McLeod. Jake McLeod, a long shot, saved by Pharisee. Rebound goes right to Colin Doherty. Doherty trying to play it forward. Bianchi with a keep-in for the moment. Now he's taken off the puck for a second by Craven, by Teske. Teske pushes it forward to find Doherty. Colin Doherty against Capecci. Capecci puts it into the corner. Doherty there against McLeod. Doherty and McLeod hook each other and ends up at the point with Robinson. Xander Robinson takes the shot, blocked by Doherty. Another shot there from Rowan. Deflection inside, and what a stop from Pharisee on McLeod.
That was their best chance of the period by far. My goodness.
James Romps, 1-on-3 from the far circle. Send that one lightly at Kennedy and just take the offensive zone whistle. 7:56 left in period number 1. Media timeout on the ice. Owen, what a sequence there for Rowan, and a great stop by Pharisee to end it.
Yeah, the puck was just loose right in front of McLeod, who actually leads this team in points per game.
One of the top guys in the ACC, right?
Yeah, and he's a freshman. He's probably the runaway favorite for freshman of the year, which is just, it goes to show you how much talent this team has, not only from their seniors and their juniors, but from their young guys. And he has been great all season. He was kind of quiet yesterday, but he's certainly made his presence felt here today. Right there, he had a really good chance there, but that's freshman on freshman right there. Pharisee's going to win that more often than not.
Absolutely. Jack Pharisee, a great stop in tight on Rowan's leading scorer, Jake McLeod. Max Finley's their leading scorer, Jake McLeod at number 2.
But Max Finley, less points per game than Jake McLeod. So
yeah, that is true. Finley did play more games.
And I will say, I mean, not to discredit Ryder or anything, but
Rowan.
I've been getting the mix
all day.
Weekend, and you know, I would feel bad about it if we'll keep that off the air. But it seems like, looking at their schedule and the scores, it seems like they've had a lot of games where they score, 8 or 9 goals, but it's against teams like Millersville, who aren't in any tournament, or teams that are in division in elite instead of premier. And when you look at some stats, if you're playing a bunch of teams in the elite area instead of premier, probably going to end up having a lot more points than you probably think.
Well, and something big we noticed last night was in Penn State versus Wake Forest. Penn State didn't have the greatest overall record, but they played a tough non-conference schedule this season, taking a bunch of D1 teams non-conference. They prepared themselves for this playoff environment, facing a lot of really hard teams down the stretch. Rowan did not get tested nearly as much this year despite their strong record. Chase Wilson trying to play this out of the defensive end. He finds nobody, but Josh Bianchi is forced to chase it down in his defensive zone. Bianchi facing some light pressure from Hudrick. Bianchi, long stretch pass there, finds Capecci, no ice. Eli Petter, one-on-one against O'Donnell. Petter gets there first. Blake Warner will send it back down. O'Donnell there for Rowan. He goes into the boards against Eli Petter. Capecci trying to feed it inside. Nobody home. That puck deflects back into the stands. Second time it's hit that spot in the arena, Owen.
Yeah, fan will get a little bit of a souvenir here. And I want to go back to what we were talking about, with Penn State. And you said the D1 record, but I will say last night they did look a little slow out the gate. But you said a year ago it kind of was a similar story, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Terps and Ice Lions faced off in the first round in this building last year. Penn State in the 1-8 matchup. Terps took them down to the wire. Final score was 3-2. Toughest competition Penn State have faced all weekend. They have by far the longest journey of any of these teams to Winston-Salem. So If you try to catch them on that first day, they can usually be a little bit tired, sluggish. They don't have their skating legs under them yet. And Wake Forest nearly made them pay.
They did. They had a third-period lead.
They had a third-period lead. Here we go. Patrick Harnan with a 2-on-0 developing. Harnan inside on Kennedy. Duchesne rebound. Score! Travis Duchesne! 2-1 Terps. Count it. Count it for Travis Duchesne.
And I want to be careful here. We might be seeing an offsides review. Duchesne might have been a touch off, and Harnan might have even been driven into the goalkeeper. We'll see if the Rowan coaching staff wants to take a look at this. I think they will.
Yeah, referees immediately going to the Rowan bench. It seems like they're being called over.
And that's...
Although now it seems like they're saying ready for play.
Yeah, and it was a really good pass there. I'm not sure who made the initial pass, but Harnan and Duchesne, it was going to be a 2-on-0. Rowan, a good job with the back check, getting back in there. And then Harnan drove in, tried to make a move, shot to the near post, rebound, Duchesne.
Wallace a long shot.
Ooh.
Great tip there from Luke Mohan. Bobby Kennedy had to make a late adjustment to get the stop there.
Yeah, and for Duchesne, it was just easy as tapping it in, and they do that. Maryland finds themselves up, and we said if they continue to play the way that they have, the chances will come, and the chance comes there, and they take full advantage.
Patrick Harnan and Travis Duchesne had a 2-on-0 after a giant gaff by Rowan. They went for a change while the Terps were in transition. Patrick Harnan took the first shot on Kennedy. He came up with the save. Nobody near Travis Duchesne. All he had to do was put his stick on the ice, and he poked home that rebound. Eli Petter in his defensive end. Plays it up to Doherty. Colin Doherty, he's got Romps with him in the offensive end. Doherty taken into the boards there by Jake McLeod.
It was a 1-on-4 for Doherty there. It was going to be a hard play for him to make.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough play for number 28 in black right there. He tried his best. Caleb Craven collecting it in Maryland's defensive end. Plays it up to Teske. Brian Teske has his pass there, read by Rudolph. Rudolph dumping it into the offensive end for Rowan as he skates off for a change. Caleb Craven around the boards to Teske. Up ahead to Warner. Warner, one more touch, but it glances out of play. We got another whistle.
I wonder if this will be a delay of game call.
Those don't exist.
Well, I mean the same sense of
forcing the same five to stay on the ice.
Yeah, I think they are.
Understood.
And I mean, I'm not sure if Maryland would want to change here. I think if you're deep in your own zone, these are probably the 5 skaters you want out there. Teske, Craven, Chase Wilson, Hudrin, and Blake Warner.
Off the tie-up, Maryland gets possession with Brian Teske. Teske around the boards to Craven. Caleb Craven up ahead for Hudrin.
I think he was ready for that puck. He was like, oh.
Yeah, Jack Hudrin seemed very surprised that puck came his way. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Hudrin at the Rowan blue line forces it off. And now another offside washed out there as Rowan was able to check up somehow on that play. Rowan plays it down deep. Evan Schuster there for the Profs. He's 1-on-2 against a couple of huge Terps. That's never going to go well for number 10 in white. Up at the point, Rowan sends it down low again. Schuster taken down hard by Teske. Teske and Schuster still fighting for that puck. It ends up at the point there for Rowan. Long-range shot from R.J. Rowan is gloved down.
Teske's getting into it. Oh, Teske's probably going to the box
here. Yeah, Teske may have done one too many shoves there against Evan Schuster.
But Schuster was laying down and just was laying on his stick.
Yeah, Brian Teske was trying to fish his stick out from underneath Schuster. Brian Teske talking with the officials, and it seems like they're going to go no calls either ways as the official realized that Schuster was blocking Teske from picking his stick back up. Yep, no calls either way.
4 minutes, 4:45 left. If Maryland, I think if you're Maryland, you're probably going full defense mode right now. Just trying to go into the third period.
Hey, it worked against Wilmington.
Or maybe like try to be offensive and just hope that Shano makes saves, and he does.
James Body plays this one into neutral up ahead for Patrick Harnan. Harnan, though, can't handle it cleanly. Rowan's out the other way with Riley Capecci. Capecci 1-on-3 with a shot, gloved down by Pharisee yet again. Jack Pharisee flashing that leather right there as he did so many times yesterday against the Seahawks. This faceoff will come to Pharisee's right.
I think for Maryland right now, you just got to kind of play a more neutral zone, a more neutral game. It seems like it's been very volatile. You've been either playing super offensive or super defensive. I think you just got to find a good mix and keep the puck between the blue lines.
Kromchik's pass is offline to his defensive partner Wyatt there, and now Wyatt has to go all the way behind Kennedy to play it up. James Body trying to keep it in the offensive zone. He can't quite do it, but deflects into Maryland's bench, and we get a face-off in Rowan's defensive end of the ice. Terps will keep their first line out on the ice for this offensive zone draw. Travis Duchesne, this line's right wing, your most recent goal scorer, giving the Terps a 2-1 lead here in Winston-Salem.
Feels like the first offensive zone face-off for the Terps in an eternity.
Yeah, it's been a lot of Rowan offensive zone possession time here in this second period, but the Terps currently have a lead. Patrick Harnan trying to play it in deep. Riccardi reads that pass, and Rowan's out the other way again with Finley. Max Finley sending that one low. Pharisee sticks that one into the glass. At the point, it's held in by Riccardi. Riccardi down low. Duchesne reads that, plays it up for Body.
Fantastic
James
pass.
Body has a bit of a step. Body inside. He was looking for Harnan. That pass a little bit too far in front. Rakowskis a long-range shot. That one goes wide of Kennedy. Andrew Wallace trying to keep it in at the far point. He can't get there first, but this could turn into an icing. Rakowskis can't get there before Finley. Max Finley in front. Bowman, a shot saved by Pharisee. My goodness, Jack Pharisee, are you kidding me?
That was a grade A chance for Rowan. I'm surprised they
Terps
didn't
trying to
convert.
catch him in transition. Pilkington moving in. Across Schreibman, can't get the last touch.
Yeah, Schreibman was tied up there in front of the net by Daniel Duffy. First time we got that name right initially. But going back to that initial chance. Ooh, and behind the play, Sean Amon
Look
got
out,
completely
2-on-1
taken out.
developing here now. Duffy, Amon reads it though, and he's able to play it up. Bowman with the keep in. Bowman, a shot, it goes high. Rebound for Duffy, he can't pull the trigger.
That was a great play by Pilkington to just screen Duffy. I feel like Duffy might have been a little bit fear-mongered there.
Schreibman taken down, no call from the official as it looked like he was hooked. Grant Warner in front, Schreibman with a tip that goes wide. Michael Schreibman down low trying to leave it for Warner. Capecci gets there first. Capecci off the boards to Riley Rudolph. Rudolph plays it up ahead. Grant Warner with a keep in at the point for the moment. In neutral, Terps pick it up. This is Wallace. Wallace off the glass. This will turn into an icing on Maryland as the Terps are in the middle of a change. We'll see which 5 the officials let them put on the ice.
Going back to the Pharisee
Oh, my
save.
goodness.
Oh, my
What
goodness.
a stop from Shano there.
Dude, you had, had Jake McLeod right in front of the net.
Brian Bowman.
Or Brian Bowman, excuse me. Bowman was right in front of the net, and it was a great A chance. It was like a shootout almost. He made a nice little fake. Pharisee fell for it, and then he got over to the far post right away. It's about as perfect as you could. It's how you draw it up if you're Shano.
Xander Robinson plays it across to his offensive partner, Rowan. Rowan pressured by Blake Warner, and Warner's able to push it into neutral. Now Grant Warner. You got both Warner brothers on the ice as the Terps were in the middle of a change after that icing. Look out here for Rowan. Cutting inside is McLeod with a shot save. The rebound still loose in front. Terps fighting for it. It's loose in front of Jake McLeod, and that turns into a hand pass. Terps catching a break right there.
Yeah, and for a moment, the Terps had a second liner, a third liner, and a fourth liner all at once. And they avoid crisis. Another really good chance as McLeod is having a word with the officials.
Yeah, Jake McLeod didn't realize the puck was right next to his stick. He used his glove to play it out to R.J. Rowan, so it turns into a hand pass. And after that scramble in front that looked like it could have been a Rowan goal, it's going to turn into a neutral zone faceoff. 2:10 left here in the middle 20. Terps lead 2-1 here over Rowan.
Just got to get to this next period if you're Maryland. Just no matter what.
You got to lock it down for the next 2 minutes.
Don't be aggressive at all. Just if you have a chance at a break or an odd man rush, take it. But don't be aggressive at all.
Brian Teskey seems to have that message as he slows it down for Craven. Caleb Craven back off the boards to Teskey. Brian Teskey looking for options,
they're
chooses
just playing
Craven
catch
again.
So smart. They're taking up so much time right now.
Craven trying to get around the boards, and Romps has it in neutral. Romps loses it to McLeod. Mohan stalls him up for a moment, and Doherty's back there again for the Terps. Plays it back for Teskey. Terps doing a great job killing this time here. Up ahead, Mohan, another tip beyond center ice, so no icing. Carter Wyatt all the way in his defensive end. Has that pass out blocked by Mohan. Mohan, a shot from Doherty, doesn't get all the way to Kennedy. Around the boards, Rowan trying to get it out of their defensive end. It's held in by Caleb Craven. Craven sends it in deep yet again. Carter Wyatt there for the Profs. Terps changing. Great job there from the third line.
Doherty's still out there. Oh, my goodness, what a
Travis
poke check.
Duchesne, a great poke check on Capecci, and Capecci's forced to chase it down again. Riley Capecci trying to get a step on Duchesne here. Capecci 1-on-3 into the offensive zone. Grant Warner stalls him up and skies it back through neutral. Not enough pacing for icing yet again as we're below a minute to play in this middle frame.
And these are probably the highest rafters the Terps have played in all season. They're going to be able to they've been taking advantage of that. You had a lot of high, just airmailed clearances, and it's worked to their favor.
Patrick Harnon dumping that one in from the blue line. Back there for Rowan, it was Carter Wyatt. Up through neutral, Max Finley there for Rowan against Eli Petter. Finley looking for a pass. Jack Rakowskis beats Brian Bowman to that puck. Rakowskis up ahead. James Body in a foot race. He wins it no icing with 30 seconds on the clock. Body taken into the boards there by Carter Wyatt. Riley Rudolph picks up a loose puck. Rudolph leaves up for Finley with 20 seconds in the middle frame. Around the boards, Riley Rudolph has it down low, but he loses it to Eli Petter. Petter with 10 seconds looks like he's just going to try and kill the rest of this clock, sending it down the ice. He misses Kennedy, and this will turn into an icing with 5.5 left on the clock.
And Petter, I think he was just aiming for a shot that would have taken this period down, and now Maryland, they've got to play lockdown for 5 more seconds. Don't let any quick shots, and they got a good face-off guy out there in Chase Wilson right now. But James Body's been out there for a really long time. And keep in mind, Body tweaked his knee last night at the end of the game in the final moments, so hoping that he is okay.
Brian Bowman against Chase Wilson for a crucial face-off here. Bowman wins it back for Finley, but a great play there from Chase Wilson to force Finley into neutral, and that'll kill out the rest of this period. Terps on top 2-1 after 2. We'll be back for the third period of play in about 15 minutes here on the Maryland Hockey Network radio broadcast. A good one brewing in this second round game. 1 seed Rowan trailing 7 seed Maryland 2-1. Welcome back for this third and final period of play here on the Maryland Hockey Network
Maybe
from
not
the ACC.
final.
Maybe not final. You're right. Here for the ACCHL playoffs in Winston-Salem. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside Owen Korzak for the 7-1 matchup in round 2. Number 7 Maryland with a 2-1 lead over number 1 Rowan after 40. Owen, Travis Duchesne, the lone tally of that second period, and what was kind of not Maryland's finest period, but they capitalized on their one grade A chance.
Well, it was not their best period, but that doesn't mean it was a bad period. The first few minutes were certainly not their best, probably some of their worst hockey of the season. They could not get a line change if their life depended on it, but obviously they ended up doing so. And after those first 5-6 minutes of the period, it was really all Terps. Rowan, you didn't really see a lot of grade A chances. You saw a few wacky bounces that led to good chances, but Jack Pharisee was all over those. And then Travis Duchesne, I mean, we said it a lot at intermission. We said it a lot throughout the period. If they returned to how they were playing those first 7-8 minutes of the game, chances were going to come. They started doing that. A chance came, a 2-on-0 with Harnan and Duchesne. Rowan started to catch up with their back check. Harnan shot back or near post. Rebound. Travis Duchesne taps it home. And Maryland, I mean, Andy, we were just talking about it with Bailey at intermission, some of the other media people here for other schools, particularly Virginia Tech.
Yep, Finn and Caitlin were chatting with us about it too.
Yeah, a lot of shared discrepancies with this weekend, the five of us. But yeah, we were talking and basically said if Maryland plays the exact way they played in yesterday's third period, even though it won't be pretty, they would win. And a lot of that would fall on the goaltender, Jack Pharisee, but I think that Maryland is doing a lot better today than they did yesterday, and I don't think that that's up for debate.
Yeah, Rowan's best scoring chance in that second period, a turnover right in front of Pharisee that became a one-on-none for Brian Bowman, and a sliding Pharisee made his best stop of the night.
And that's basically how all the chances have been so far. So I think if Maryland kind of cools themselves down, plays extremely conservative, they should be able to walk away with this one.
Harnan wins the opening draw in the third period, and we're underway for the final 20 here in Winston-Salem. Potentially final 20, before you correct me once more.
Hopefully final 20.
Yes, after last night's marathon game between Penn State and Wake Forest, where I was on play-by-play, I've got to be very careful how I talk on these calls.
And when we go to the media timeout, we'll give a little bit of a landscape of how incredible that game was.
James Body trying to feed in front. Riley Capecci reads that pass, and he's got behind Rowan's net. Capecci picking up speed, trying to get a step around Duchesne. Capecci just dumps it in from neutral. Caleb Craven's going to be the first one there. He's taken into the boards by Cassis. Cassis and Craven fighting for that puck. It squirts out into the corner, and it's picked up by Rowan. Around the net, Capecci picks it up. Capecci taken into the boards there by Brian Teskey. Teskey takes it off his stick, but he can't handle it cleanly. Still loose behind Maryland's net. Riley Capecci picks it up for Rowan. Capecci leaves a pass down low, back up to the point. It's Robinson. Robinson across. Riley Rudolph creeping in from the far circle. A shot, and Pharisee with a kick-out save. Another shot, rebound, and Pharisee shuts down the 5-hole in tight. Late deflection there by Anthony Cassis.
Yeah, Anthony Cassis right there, an incredible play. And that was really kind of I'm not going to say a lucky play, but I'll just say that Shano was in the right place at the right time. That went right
Sometimes
into his
that's all it takes.
Yeah, that went right to his breadbasket. You know, being in the right place at the right time is kind of a goalie's job. So an incredible play there by Jack Pharisee.
Maryland trying to win that faceoff forward. Rowan able to get possession. Finley in the corner. Finley back up to the point. Rowan plays it down low for Finley with a shot. That one's blocked by his sliding Andrew Wallace.
Who else but Andrew Wallace to block that shot?
Held in at the point for the moment by Rowan. They're trying to play it in deep. Wallace back there for Maryland, poking it forward. Schreibman gets it over the blue line. Xander Robinson dumping it in from center. Sean Amon back there for the Terps. Amon plays it off the boards for Pilkington. Pilkington up ahead to Grant Warner. Warner backwards pass to Wallace, and now Wallace up ahead finds Schreibman. Schreibman with a 2-on-3 in the offensive end to Maryland in the middle of a change. Schreibman plays it in front. Kennedy sticks it into the corner. Max Findley there for the Profs. Findley stretches it the length of the ice. He's able to find a teammate there. That was number 29, Daniel Duffy. Rowan in the middle of a change as they go dump and chase. Pharisee skips out of his net to leave it for Petter. Petter up ahead finds Doherty. Doherty one-touch move for Petter yet again. Maryland kind of crosses themselves up on the zone entry, and now Rowan's out the other way with O'Donnell.
Jack Rakowskis is having himself a very good game. Him and Petter, seems like since they've been put on a pair together, have been playing extremely well, both sides of the ice.
Colin Doherty's pass skips over the stick of James Romps and ends up in neutral. Rowan trying to push it back in. Jack Rakowskis there for the Terps.
That was a nice hip check there along the boards by Luke Mohan that kind of set that puck free.
Romps in neutral, can't handle it cleanly. Carter Wyatt back there for the Profs. Terps changing out their forward personnel. Colin Doherty, though, was applying a little bit of forecheck there, and now Chase Wilson has it in the offensive zone as Doherty heads off for a change. Another great shift from number 28 in black, earning his minutes today. Blake Warner keeping it in deep for the Terps. First one there is Dimitri Thompson for Rowan. Warner takes him into the boards. Thompson leaves it back for Capecci. Capecci skies that one into center. Caleb Craven picks it up for the Terps in their defensive zone. Now Jack Hudrin plays it over to Craven. Craven, long pass up, finds the stick of Warner, so no ice here. Carter Wyatt back there for Rowan. Chase Wilson gives him an extra tap into the boards. Jack Hudrin fighting for it on this near side. Hudrin wins that battle, plays it around to Warner. Warner on the far circle trying to feed it in front. Jack Hudrin was tied up there with Dimitri Thompson. Rowan in neutral trying to get an offensive zone breakout. That pass is way offline, and Jack Hudrin sends it the other way with Harnan. Harnan 1-on-4 in the offensive zone as his teammates are all getting onto the ice.
Oh,
Harnan taken down hard by Riccardi. Another no call there.
There's been some questionable no calls on both sides here today. It seems like they're really just letting them play. We haven't seen a man advantage at all today.
Yeah, we nearly had one. A 5-minute major called in the first period that was overturned upon review. Duchesne feeds Body. Body 1-on-1 against Riccardi. Body drop past Duchesne. Duchesne inside Body and a save by Kennedy.
That was unbelievable there by Bobby Kennedy.
Sean Amon still dangerous at the Maryland point. Keeping it in with a shot there, and it fires off of Body's knee and back into center. James Body, a beautiful opportunity there. What a pass from Travis Duchesne. Bobby Kennedy with the answer.
And the setup was by Body. He just dumped it off for Duchesne, and Body's size simply just got Duchesne some space. Body set a screen on two different profs, and then Body at the back door could not convert.
Rowan in their defensive end. This is R.J. Rowan. His pass is offline. Tommy Pilkington picks it up for the Terps. Pilkington trying to feed Schreibman. Xander Robinson beats him to that loose puck. Robinson plays it up ahead for a teammate. That's Karabasi. Now with Schuster. Schuster gets stick checked there by Rakowskis, and now Maryland's out the other way. Schreibman poking it forward. Schreibman, though, can't beat Rowan to that puck, and this will be icing on Maryland. 15-11 left in the third period. Shots on goal, 28-14 in favor of the Profs, but the Terps on top where it matters, 2-1.
Yeah, and again, we've said it a few times. The shots are certainly inflated. There's no way Rowan has 28 shots on net.
It's been probably like 17 to 12.
I really don't know where they're getting that number from. Yeah, I'm sure Pharisee will like those numbers.
Yeah, Pharisee definitely appreciated the 59 saves they gave him yesterday. Tommy Pilkington starting a breakout here with Grant Warner. Warner gets around one prof but can't get around Duffy. Duffy's pass, though, is intercepted by Rakowskis. Jack Rakowskis winding up at his own blue line. Finds the stick of Grant Warner to avoid an icing as all five Terps change. Rowan trying to catch them in transition. Profs were too slow there. Terps have their new personnel on the ice. Caleb Craven up ahead. Tap forward by Mohan. Doherty working one-on-one there. Can't get it around Rowan. Doherty takeaway and a kick save for Kennedy in tight. Colin Doherty, after a terrible pass from R.J. Rowan, nearly made the Profs pay there.
I don't even think I don't even think that was a pass. I think he just fanned on it. I think that the puck just kind of came free. Doherty with the best chance of his season, probably for sure. He's shaking his head in disappointment, but Doherty has been all over the place these past two games. The Terps need him to continue to play the way he has to. We're 5.5 minutes through what Maryland needs to be a shutdown third period.
Colin Doherty's been getting a lot of minutes down the stretch in that Wilmington game yesterday. Coaching staff really liking what they're seeing out of 28 in black in his defensive game lately. Right there, nearly flashing that offensive skill. Kennedy with the answer on the kick save. Rowan possesses the puck in their defensive end here. Capecci trying to play it forward around Doherty. He gets it into neutral, but Caleb Craven there for the Terps. Craven will dump this in from the blue line as he heads off for a line change.
Doherty lost his stick in that process. It kind of threw the Terps off a little bit.
Dimitri Thompson trying to motor into the offensive zone for Rowan. He has forced to dump it. Sean Amon there for the Terps. He'll play it around the boards to Wallace. Andrew Wallace finds Hudrin. Hudrin up ahead finds Blake Warner. Warner, though, won't be able to beat Kromchik to those face-off dots, and this turns into an icing.
If we get a brawl today, for some reason...
You want to see 6'7" Warner against 6'9" Kromchik?
I think Kromchik probably doesn't get in a lot of fights because of his size. I'll use yesterday as an example. Chris Sager of Delaware was kind of getting into it with.
I could not believe that
one of the
5'8"
cross,
Chris Sager was trying to get into it with
And then
Kromchik.
Kromchik kind of came up, and Sager still gave him a little shove, but go back to the play here.
Riccardi across for Rudolph at the point for Rowan with a shot that never got all the way. Pharisee rebound, they score. Daniel Duffy picks up the rebound off the block shot. Sean Amon knocked it down before it got to Pharisee, but nobody was by Daniel Duffy, and we're tied at 2.
Yeah, it's nothing much there. Pharisee couldn't control the rebound. Puck came free. Duffy backhand wide open net goal. As easy as that.
Maryland.
Unfortunate,
yep.
yeah. Really unfortunate turn. They were actually playing pretty well.
They really were. They were playing great hockey for that first 7 minutes of this third period.
That was really the only chance that Rowan has had. There's
Absolutely.
still a lot of time. Maryland, they've been able to score when they've needed to. They scored first, and they were able to respond shortly after. So a lot of time left. Don't count these Terps out just yet.
Absolutely not. It's still just a tie game here in Winston-Salem. Eli Petter plays it up forward, trying to get it for Body. Body playing it forward, trying to get it out of the defensive zone. It's held in by Rudolph. Rudolph down low for Thomas. Nick Thomas can't handle it cleanly. Rakowskis there for Maryland. Rakowskis passes it forward, finds Body. Body leaves to Harnan. Patrick Harnan leaves to Duchesne. Duchesne will dump this in from the blue line. That one partially blocked down by Riccardi. Riley Rudolph trying to get this out of his defensive zone. That puck took a funky bounce and stays at the faceoff dot for a moment, and now Rakowski's forced to play it back in from neutral as that puck glances out of play.
This is like the only arena I think I've been in where there's only netting along the.
Yeah, it's a very NHL style.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's like the only netting is by the goaltending nets, and so. We're used to being at the Gardens Ice House where there's pretty much netting everywhere. But
yeah, you have defense on all angles at the Gardens Ice House. Here, basically, it just has to go right above the goaltenders. Otherwise, watch out if you're in the crowd. Kromchik trying to play it forward. Caleb Craven gets in that passing lane and leaves to Teske. Teske up ahead trying to find Schreiman. That pass intercepted by Capecci. Riley Capecci, one-on-one against Teske. Teske can't hit Capecci there as he picks up the puck behind the net. Capecci feeding it in front. Nobody home on that slot pass. Dimitri Thompson chasing it down. Michael Schreiman going hard against him. And Schreiman takes Thompson into the boards. Tommy Pilkington can't corral it in center. Bianchi with the puck for Rowan. Leaves it to the point for Kromchik. Kromchik on the far point, playing it down low for Bianchi. Bianchi hit there by Tommy Pilkington. Loose puck in the corner. Sean Amon trying to get it out of harm's way. Bouncing towards Pharisee. Capecci leaves it out low in front, and a shot there is blocked by Grant Warner and wide. Andrew Wallace. Long pass there for Pilkington. Misses him, and this will be an icing on Maryland. 11:45 left here in the third period. 2-2, Terps and Profs. Shots on goal, 30-16 in favor of Rowan. As we said, be a little bit skeptical of those numbers. Both teams probably at least a little bit inflated. Defensive zone draw to be taken by Grant Warner here. He loses it to Schuster. At the point, Robinson right off the faceoff. He fires it wide. Down low, Rowan trying to gain possession. This is Cassis. Cassis sends it in front, and a shot there, a sliding block from Tommy Pilkington. Held in for the moment by Rowan. A weak shot there is blocked by Andrew Wallace. Wallace, though, can't get it out. Grant Warner picks up a loose puck in the corner. He'll feed it through center, and that's knocked down by R.J. Rowan. Rowan trying to keep up the pressure here. That play looked offside real time. They don't call it, and now it's back in neutral. Rowan breaking into the offensive zone again. This is Schuster. Schuster with a shot there, blocked by Amon. Still at the point here. Rowan dangerous with Xander Robinson. That shot never got all the way to Pharisee. Tommy Pilkington plays it off the glass. Xander Robinson trying to keep the pressure up, and that turns into a hand pass on the Profs, and we'll get our media timeout here.
Oh, Robinson is frustrated. I don't know what he's frustrated about. He slipped and he passed the puck with his hands. So if you're going to be mad about a call, maybe don't let it be that obvious. But, yeah, Maryland, they kind of catch a break there. They were trying to get a line change, but the clearance was just not high enough. They were able to, or Xander Robinson tried to grab it, ended up turning into a pass. And Maryland avoids disaster. We're going to be able to get a new set of skaters out there. But Andy, let's talk about the Penn State game from last night.
Yeah, that Penn State-Wake Forest game, the 6-3 matchup from last night that refused to end. I was on play-by-play, Bailey Unchester on color, and boy, that one was a marathon. And Wake Forest, a vibrant student section, they were hyping up those Demon Deacons the whole time, nearly helping Wake Forest pull off that home ice upset. They tied the game with 1:57 left on the clock. Wake Forest, Jagger Lucas was the guy who scored for them. He jumped into the boards where all the students were on the glass. They were jumping into each other. There was beer being thrown onto the ice. And then they even had to make a PA announcement that anybody who throws an item onto the ice is subject for removal from the arena.
And Wake Forest came back from two different two-goal deficits. They were down 2-0 after the first period. Second period, they scored 2 goals in the final 3 minutes or so.
To tie it up.
To tie it up. They come out and actually take the lead a minute in.
And then Penn State with back-to-back to right after Wake Forest took the lead.
It was just a fun game to watch.
Great game of hockey.
And, yeah, but hopefully Maryland can have a finish similar to Penn State's from last night. Final 10:54 of this game.
Offensive zone draw here for the Terps. Luke Mohan with the face-off win back for Rakowskis. His shot is blocked down by a sliding Duffy, and Rowan's out the other way with Griffin Meyer. Meyer, a huge hit there by Eli Petter.
Rowan's looking for a penalty. You're not going to get any penalties like
that.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I don't think any penalties will be called in this game, period,
unless
at this point.
Unless it's a blatant, like...
a blatant. We've seen a few that we thought were blatant that the officials let slide. Behind the net, Rakowskis picks it up behind Pharisee, but he loses it to Duffy. Duffy playing it out in front, and it goes up to the point for Rudolph. Rudolph, the long-range shot, he scores. Riley Rudolph through the screen, and Rowan has their first lead of the evening. Jack Pharisee heavily screened in front of him. He never saw that shot from Riley Rudolph. And number 20 in white gives the Profs a lead. Terps looking for a comeback now with a little over 10 minutes to play here in the third period. Rowan playing the puck out front. Xander Robinson can't get a clean shot off there. Brian Teske picks it up behind Pharisee. Teske around the boards to Hudrin. Hudrin playing it off the glass. Can't get out of the defensive zone for the moment. Rowan keeping it in with Xander Robinson. Down low, Brian Bowman feeds it out in front for Robinson, and Pharisee comes up with another stop there. Brian Teske picking it up behind Maryland's net again. Maryland's captain looking for a pass. He sends it through neutral. Nobody home there as Jack Hudrin delivers a check on Xander Robinson, and this will turn into icing on the Profs. 9:32 left here in the third period. Terps trailing by 1, looking for a comeback here. Shots on goal, 31-16 in favor of Rowan.
It's a big chance for Maryland here on the offensive zone faceoff to get back in this one.
Patrick Harnan gets kicked out of the faceoff dot here.
Well, that should.
We'll see who they kick out. That was definitely a misdraw of some kind.
Regardless, the prof just tackled Harnan after the whistle was blown and right in front of the eyes of the official. So
that was Nick Thomas going up against Harnan at the faceoff dot there.
Harnan's been quiet today. You got to maybe. Obviously he was part of that first goal, but you want to see him generate more chances.
Face-off one forward by Harnan. Travis Duchesne collects it out in front for Body with a shot and a kick save for Kennedy. Travis Duchesne cycling it up to the point for Wallace. His shot never gets all the way to Bobby Kennedy.
Lost a glove, actually.
Travis Duchesne loses a glove. He's playing with one hand on his stick right now. Sean Amon trying to play it down low for Body. Body one-on-one against Robinson here. Body gets there first out in front. Harnan trying to force one on net. He can't get a stick on it there. Max Finley slowing things down for the Profs. Finley skying this one right at Pharisee. He'll glove it and leave for Amon. Sean Amon leaves it in the corner. Riley Capecci there for the Profs. Bianchi with a shot. That's blocked by Wallace. Loose puck on the boards as Schreidman gets tripped up. Still no calls.
This is getting a little ridiculous here with some of these no calls.
Capecci sends it around the side at the point. It's Kromchik across to Wyatt. Wyatt down low in front by Duffy. A deflection doesn't get all the way to Pharisee. Back in center, James Body trying to play it forward for Maryland as he gets. You've got to be kidding me. They finally call one.
Yeah.
A giant hold as James Body is dragged down in neutral ice,
and
far away from the puck.
Off the ice too. He's one of their best penalty killers. Takes up a lot of space, and this is if you're Maryland, this is an opportunity being served to you on a golden platter.
Absolutely. 8:26 left here in the third period. Terps trailing by 1. Their season on the line. James Body draws that penalty in center ice. Patrick Harnon to take this face-off here against Max Finley. Linesman now getting set. Harnon tying up this face-off. Duchesne gets possession up for Teske. Teske trying to play it down low. Rowan there, and Teske with the keep it. Teske down low for Harnon. They're trying to get the power play set up now. Harnon pressured hard there by Rudolph. Harnon gets around him. Harnon, left hand side, score!
Oh, goodness, that is the goal of the year for
Patrick Harnon! Are you kidding me? What an individual effort!
Unbelievable patience there by Harnon. He fought through, I think it was with Rudolph, who's been the player of the game for Rowan. He fought through the contact there to just win the puck, but you've got to give credit to Brian Teske for keeping it in. Harnon then attacks the net, backhand far post, buries it. We are all tied up in this period. It looked like it was going to be a low-scoring affair. We suddenly have had 3 goals in this period alone.
That might be the greatest individual effort I've ever seen as a Maryland broadcaster. What Patrick Harnon just did on that play
and Andy, I apologize.
Was incredible.
I apologize for cutting you off mid-call, but I mean, it was if you're not watching the stream, we'll post the highlights after this. That is the goal of the year for Maryland, undisputed. I don't think there's one that even comes close.
I mean, words can't. I'm trying my best on this radio call, but words cannot describe what Patrick Harnon just did. That was pure lunacy. Right in front of Bobby Kennedy to tie this game.
Let's see if they can build on that.
Danny Duffy with a shot at the point for Rowan. That one whistles wide of Pharisee. Riley Rudolph plays it down low. Teske there for the Terps. Teske around the boards to Schreibman. Michael Schreibman leaving it down low. Teske and Warner both there. Warner can't get around Riley Rudolph at the point. Riccardi fans on his shot, but he's able to recollect it. Riley Rudolph winds and fires just high.
They got to circle number 20 and put a player on him. He is crushing the Terps right now.
Oh, loose puck here. Riley Rudolph buzzes that one wide yet again. He looks extra dangerous here. Rudolph still circling with Meyer. Griffin Meyer sends it across to Riccardi. Riccardi inside. That one never got all the way to Pharisee. Meyer was looking for the tip. Brian Teske trying to collect that puck. He can't do it cleanly. Now Teske sends it through neutral. Riccardi touches it, so no ice here. Terps trying to change off a few players. Rowan trying to catch him in transition. Eli Petter fresh onto the ice, picks up the puck for Maryland. Petter finds Mohan. Luke Mohan cutting inside, can't get the shot off there as he's held down by Max Finley. Colin Doherty trying to feed it in deep. Xander Robinson with the takeaway. Doherty leaves for Mohan. Mohan taken off the puck there by Robinson. Doherty collects it though. Doherty in front, and Mohan can't get the shot off there. James Romps can't handle it cleanly. Rakauskas recollects in center for Maryland. Rowan winding up in their own end. Up ahead, this pass finds Max Finley. Finley, 2-on-1 developing. He'll take the shot, and Pharisee comes up with the shoulder save. Xander Robinson, a shot at the point. Another stick save for Pharisee. Rebound in the corner. James Romps there for the Terps. Romps up ahead for Wilson. He can't handle it cleanly. Doherty trying to chase down that loose puck against Bowman. Bowman gets there first. Brian Bowman circling around Rakauskas. Bowman and Rakauskas on this near circle. Play it up to the point. This is R.J. Rowan. Rowan with a shot down low. Nick Thomas plays it back up to the point for Robinson. Xander Robinson across. Rowan with a shot and a stick save for Pharisee there. Rebound to Thomas. He sends it wide. Xander Robinson at the far point. That is an offside, and Robinson is going to be forced to play back into neutral.
That was a huge play for Maryland just because they were gassed and Rowan was really taking it to him.
Long stretch pass there finds Travis Duchesne. It'll allow Maryland to fully complete the change. James Body picks up the puck on this near circle, trying to feed it across. Nobody home on that pass. Rowan out the other way. They were trying to get a breakaway there. Sean Amon deflected that puck. And now Rowan has it in their defensive end against Dimitri Thompson. He turns it over to Body. James Body leads for Harden with a shot and a blocker save by Kennedy. Travis Duchesne, a sharp angle shot, doesn't get all the way to the net. He'll take another one from the point, deflected in front by Harnan, and a save for Kennedy there. Sean Amon in the far circle with a shot and another save for Kennedy. Amon facing a little bit of pressure on the far side. Inside for Body. He never got a final touch on that one. James Body on the near boards. Body facing some pressure from Bianchi. Around the side, Sean Amon can't keep it in. Travis Duchesne chases it down in neutral. Body there for the Terps, and he'll go back in the offensive zone. James Body on the far circle, rips a shot right into the glove of Bobby Kennedy. He'll hold. 4:29 left here in the third period. Terps and Profs tied 3 apiece.
And Maryland, they're really buzzing right now. The Terps are doing a really good job. Since that Harnan goal, they had that little rough defensive possession. They have locked in since. That was a really good sustained offensive zone time. It was really good offensive zone time for the Terps, and you got a third line with Mohan who can win faceoffs.
Well, and you talk about the momentum shifting. Not only did Harnan tie the game, he had some major style points on that goal. When you see something like that on a bench, it really fires you up if you're Maryland. Colin Doherty with it on the far circle in the offensive zone, leaves it behind the net to James Romps. Romps loses the puck there to Carter Wyatt, and Wyatt has it for Rowan. Bad pass there. Colin Doherty with a takeaway. Doherty trying to cut inside. Kromchik blocks the shot. Doherty one-on-one against Wyatt in the corner. Wyatt plays it up to the point, but only gets as far as Teskey. Teskey another put down low. Kromchik there for Rowan. Leaves to Wyatt. Carter Wyatt backhands this one into neutral. Capecchi there for the Profs. He'll touch it up, but Caleb Craven picks it up for Maryland behind Pharisee. Caleb Craven winding up speed. Goes up for Doherty. Colin Doherty feeds inside to Craven. Craven 1-on-2 trying to cut inside. He can't get around Riccardi.
Craven's had a quiet day. That's really the first time we've seen him make some noise on the offensive end.
Chase Wilson trying to apply some pressure on Capecchi here. Capecchi gets around him once, still getting stalled up in neutral there by Doherty as he heads off for a change. Giant play there as Chase Wilson loses a stick.
Serious?
And I think this might be a slash on Chase Wilson here.
And I'm not sure. Given how this night has gone, I'm not sure if you can call that in this moment. I mean,
3:27 remaining in the third period. Maryland headed shorthanded for the first time today. Chase Wilson to the penalty box for a slash. And there was definitely a slashing motion, but I completely agree with you, Owen. The way this game has been called so far, you don't call that in crunch time.
The only penalty so far that has been called was one that was indisputable.
Yeah. Rowan setting up their power play after the offensive zone win. Rudolph has it at the point, plays it for Bowman. Bowman across. Finley back up to the point for Rudolph. Rudolph had to stretch to grab that one. He sends it over to Bowman on the far circle. Bowman down low for Thomas. Thomas in front. He was looking for Finley. That pass was offline.
And the Terps, the way that their penalty kill runs, they're very aggressive, and you can certainly get a few odd man rushes, especially when you have players like Harnan and Duchesne on the ice right now.
Eli Petter tying up Nick Thomas in the far corner. Thomas and Petter fighting for that puck. And Rowan comes out with it. Daniel Duffy plays it on the boards for Thomas. Thomas right behind Pharisee. Thomas out in front for Duffy. He never got a shot off. Held in at the point by Riley Rudolph. Across. Bowman has his pass intercepted by Patrick Harnan. Who else for Maryland right now?
And Finley was open a lot, and Maryland is lucky that they're able to get out of that, not giving up anything to Finley. He was alone for most of that power play, but it's huge. You finally get a change a minute into the power play.
Patrick Harnan heads off for a change here. Maryland getting fresh penalty killers onto the ice. 1 minute remaining on the penalty to Chase Wilson.
And that was a really slow clearance from Harnan. It took a lot of time, and then it took Rowan a lot of time to actually get their line changes.
This is Jake McLeod on the near circle. McLeod looking for a passing lane in front. Nobody home. Now Bianchi with a shot. It goes wide. Brian Teskey finds that loose puck, and he'll send it down the ice. Bobby Kennedy runs out of his net to play that one up for Xander Robinson. 30 more seconds on the penalty to Wilson. Doherty stalls up Robinson. That'll kill a few more seconds off the clock. Xander Robinson standing at his own blue line, playing it up the ice. This is Bianchi. Bianchi into the offensive zone for the Profs. 20 more seconds on this power play opportunity. At the point, this is Jake McLeod. Leaves to Robinson. Back over for McLeod. McLeod on the near circle, creeping in. To the point, it's Robinson. Robinson fakes, sends it across. Shot there from Riccardi is gloved by Pharisee. He'll hold. 4 seconds left on the penalty to Chase Wilson. 90 seconds left in the third.
In Maryland, this second group with Romps and Doherty did a really, really good job at really not giving up any good chances for Rowan. The only shot was the one that was right on at Pharisee. And Andy, this game is getting me a little antsy.
Offensive zone draw for Rowan is won by Harnan right at Pharisee, and he covers right away. That only takes 1 second off the clock. Chase Wilson still in the box for another 2 seconds. Patrick Harnan wins it into the corner, and that'll kill the rest of the time off this penalty. Riley Rudolph delayed offside on Rowan, and Rudolph touches it. This should go all the way down.
It's going to.
Yep, Riley Rudolph pleading his case to the linesman, but he had his arm up well before Riley Rudolph continued playing that puck. So this basically turns into an icing on Rowan.
And Maryland, guess who's out on the ice? Harnan, Body, and Duchesne, their big 3 forwards.
They've got Petter and Rakowskis on the back end, too.
So all your goal scorers on the ice right now.
Yep, all 3 men who have scored for Maryland currently on the ice. Duchesne trying to play it up for the point for Rakowskis. Rakowskis can't hold the blue line, but he keeps possession. Rakowskis will dump it in deep. First one there is R.J. Rowand of Rowan. Rowand sends it around the boards. It's picked up by Petter in center. He'll send it right at Kennedy. Kennedy was not expecting that. Would have been offside on the Terps had it gone in. Rowan with the puck in neutral loses it to Patrick Harnan. Harnan gets checked off the puck there by Riley Rudolph. Rudolph trying to get around Petter. Rudolph on one knee gets taken into the boards there, but he's able to leave a pass on the boards. Putting it in front there, that was number 18, Matthew Karabasi. Pharisee sent it into the corner. Long-range shot from the point by Duffy is blocked down in front by Harnan. James Body picks up that loose puck. He'll sky it from center. Not fast enough for an icing. Rowan forced to play it. Daniel Duffy sends this one the length of the ice, and that one will be icing on the Profs. 29 seconds left in this third period. Offensive zone draw upcoming for the Terps.
And if you're Maryland, this is your chance. 29 seconds left. One shot could be the biggest shot of the year. I think we got a timeout called by Rowan.
Nope, timeout Maryland here ahead of this offensive zone draw.
I wouldn't have done.
Yeah, this does give Rowan the opportunity to change their skaters.
I wouldn't have called the timeout here. I would have just. I don't know. I would have just let it play through. You got 3 players out on the ice. I mean, you could put the kids line out there. It's been a while since you've seen Warner, Pilkington, and Schreibman. They are certainly capable of scoring goals. And a prop is going off into the locker room. Number 21, R.J. Rowand. Just saw him walk into the locker room. You got to hope he's okay.
Yeah, not sure what happened with Rowan there. He was just on the ice. Seemed to be skating okay. Must have felt something when he sat back down on the bench. We didn't see any glaringly obvious plays where he could have been injured. Maryland calling a timeout ahead of this huge offensive zone draw. That'll be to the left of Bobby Kennedy. 3-3 Terps and Profs in real crunch time here. 29 seconds to go in the third period. 23 more seconds on our timeout clock in arena. Rowan is indeed changing their skaters. They will take full advantage of that timeout post-icing call.
And the Terps will go and run out with their starting lineup for today. Harnan, Body, Duchesne, Teskey, and Craven. So all 5 of these players are definitely familiar with scoring.
This is a very power play-esque lineup for the Terps taking this offensive zone draw. They want a goal bad.
And this is pretty much, if Harnan wins this face-off, you're in control for 30 minutes or for 30 seconds.
Yeah, not
really.
30 minutes.
I wish it was 30 minutes, but seconds as we see Duffy having a word with Capecchi.
Patrick Harnan wins the face-off into the corner for Duchesne. Duchesne to the point for Teskey, back down low for Duchesne. Duchesne in a foot race there. Can't quite get it cleanly. R.J. Rowand, who's back on the ice. He must have just left something in the locker room that he was grabbing. May have broken a stick, maybe. Caleb Craven picks it up in Maryland's defensive zone. 10 seconds on the clock. He's looking for one more chance. James Body can't handle it cleanly. And now this is R.J. Rowand with 4 on the clock. Rowand trying to get one more chance for the Profs. Teskey eats it in the corner, but it squirted out in front for Capecchi. He never fired a shot. And we are headed to sudden victory overtime here in the second round.
And the Terps, the last time they were in overtime, took care of business against Delaware. That was obviously a lot different. So for those wondering, the way that overtime works in the ACCHL playoffs, you have
10-minute periods.
5v5 First goal wins, no shootouts.
Yep, it's continuous overtime. There is not a full intermission between the conclusion of the third period and the first OT. It's just a 2-minute break for each team.
But if it does go into second overtime, the Zamboni will head out. We will have a full intermission.
Yes, we did find that out the hard way last night.
Yeah, I think the last game, what time were we out of here last night?
The Penn State Wake
midnight?
Forest game did not end until 12:24 a.m.
Yeah, we got here what time? Like 9:45?
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it was a long day at the office for us.
Glad today we got some time to explore the incredible town of Winston-Salem.
Yeah, we took a
Bojangles.
little walk around Wake Forest campus, ate some Bojos.
So then we came right to the Gardens Ice House where it's been a mess.
Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, not the Gardens Ice House.
Oh yeah, that's fine. You're so used to saying the entire
the mecca
season,
of college sports.
Yeah, this is. I mean, if that's the mecca of college sports, this is probably the dungeon of college.
Yeah.
Sports. I mean, this place is incredible.
Both teams taking full advantage of this 2 minutes. Terps, unsurprisingly, will put Harnan, Body, and Duchesne out as their forwards with Craven and Teskey on defense. Rowan counters with Nick Thomas, Brian Bowman, and Max Finley at forward with Dominic Riccardi and the ever-dangerous number 20, Riley Rudolph, on defense. Both benches getting real hype here in Winston-Salem. Shots on goal entering OT, 33-24 in favor of the Profs, but it's 3-3 where it matters the most. 10 minutes on the clock. Sudden victory overtime starts now. Rowan wins the face-off in center. And Riccardi handles it in his defensive end. Playing it up for Finley. Finley, though, loses his footing, and he'll have to recharge the breakout again.
I've seen a lot of tires blown out tonight.
Finley up ahead. That pass too far for Bowman. First one there is Craven. Caleb Craven hard around the boards. Riley Rudolph forced to go back into center to collect that puck. Rudolph plays it across to Riccardi. Riccardi up ahead trying to feed a teammate there. Caleb Craven stalling up that pass at the blue line. Brian Bowman able to dump it into the zone. Teskey picks it up behind Pharisee. Teskey around the boards to Duchesne. Duchesne up ahead. He finds James Body. 2-on-1 developing if Maryland hurries. Body on the far circle, feeding in front. Hard in a shot. Saved by Kennedy. Rebound was loose and no goal. James Body saw the loose puck sitting in front of Bobby Kennedy. He just couldn't catch enough of it. Patrick Harnan and James Body had a 2-on-1 right there. Harnan had the first shot, a great stop from Kennedy in tight. Kennedy thought he held it. He stopped moving. The puck was sitting right in front of him, and James Body just unable to catch enough of that to put it behind number 32 in white.
Took quite the blow there, Nick Thomas, and we haven't seen the kids line out there in a while. They're going with the third line here.
Mohan wins the faceoff back for Wallace, an immediate shot and a glove save for Kennedy.
Andrew Wallace overtime game winner would be
That was as clean as can be for a face-off win for Mohan, and he gets another one back for Wallace, but it skips over his stick. Wallace chases it down in center. Delayed offside on Maryland, now washed out. Xander Robinson collects it in his defensive end for Rowan. Off the boards to Meyer. Meyer off the glass. It's held in for the moment by Romps. Romps trying to play it in deep. Can't get it around Bowman, who pushes it back into center. Robinson recollecting it in Rowan's defensive end. Xander Robinson picking up speed, 1-on-2. Robinson on the near circle for Rowan. Robinson taken off the puck there by Doherty. He leaves for Rudolph. Rudolph sends it around the boards. The first one there, Sean Amon. Amon can't handle it cleanly, though. Griffin Meyer has it behind the Maryland cage. Meyer stripped of the puck by Mohan. Mohan feeding it out, but it's held in by Rudolph at the point. Rudolph down low. McLeod with a shot. That one goes high over Pharisee. Riccardi can't hold the blue line there. Rowan will be forced to check up. Riley Rudolph with speed on the far side. Rudolph trying to cut around Wallace. Great defense there from Andrew Wallace. Capecci with a low shot, and the save by Pharisee. The rebound was loose for a moment. Pharisee jumped on top of it. Jake McLeod pushes down Jack Hudron after that whistle.
I don't know what McLeod was doing there. I mean, it seemed like that Rudolph ran into Pharisee, and then McLeod went after Hudron for no apparent reason. Maybe Andy saw something.
Actually, knowing Hud as a person, I'm sure that there was some good reason. It was probably just verbal.
Yeah.
Defensive zone draw to be taken by Chase Wilson here against Max Finley for Rowan.
Still been a long time since we've seen
The kid line on the ice, yeah.
Hopefully no one's injured.
Chase Wilson can't win it. Capecchi feeding it in front, and Pharisee never got to him. Blake Warner sends it off the glass. Capecchi holds it in for the moment for Rowan. Capecchi down low to Bowman. Bowman hit there by Chase Wilson. Rakowskis also delivering a check, and Petter picks up the loose puck. Petter picking up speed in neutral. Dumps it into the offensive zone. R.J. Rowan there for the Profs. Rowan and Petter bump into each other and take each other out. Max Finley against Chase Wilson here on the near side. Finley gets the better of him. Wilson can't keep the puck at the blue line for now. Travis Duchesne joins the fight. Brian Bowman ends up with it for the Profs. R.J. Rowan up ahead finds Capecchi. Capecchi sends it deep into the offensive zone. That one well wide of Pharisee. Blake Warner picks up the puck in neutral. Warner dumps it in. Patrick Harnan one-on-one against Xander Robinson now. Robinson takes the puck into the boards, leaves for Rudolph. Riley Rudolph springs it up ahead. James Body collects it for the Terps. Body skying that one very high. Both Rowan defensemen back there. Robinson will pick it up. That puck cannot be held in cleanly by Harnan. Bowman picks it up. That's held in again by Teske in neutral. Teske, long pass there, finds the stick of Duchesne. That one deflects right to Kennedy. He has to put it in the corner. Riley Rudolph looking for a passing lane. He's got Capecchi. Capecchi in neutral with Riccardi, 2-on-2. Capecchi sends across. Riccardi couldn't get a shot off there. Caleb Craven out in front as Daniel Duffy couldn't pull the trigger. He takes it on the far circle. That one deflected out of play by Michael Schreibman. Kid line back out on the ice. And number 22 in black makes a big defensive play there.
I like what the Terps have done so far. Really haven't given up any grade A chances to Rowan, but the Terps have had a few of their own. 6.5 minutes left.
Offensive zone draw here for Rowan. Duffy against Grant Warner. Duffy wins it for the Profs. Shot here from Bianchi. That one was a bit of a knuckle puck to Pharisee. Shano able to glove it down.
My goodness. I mean, this team has aged me 20 years this past 2 days.
Yep. They sure have, Owen. It's been a stressful couple of days in the playoffs so far.
Oh,
Tommy Pilkington has a step around everybody. Pilkington 1-on-2, and the shot goes just wide. Sean Amon keeps it in at the near point, playing it down low. Pilkington there for the Terps. Back up for Amon. Amon takes the shot, and it got all the way to Kennedy as he pokes it into the corner. Grant Warner can't keep it in there, but this will turn into icing on Rowan.
Huge play there. Pilkington upset, but he made a fantastic play to just get the puck into Maryland's zone.
Yeah, Pilkington had some daylight on that far side. He seemed a little upset that he missed that shot, but the more important thing is that he kept the pressure on. And now Maryland has an offensive zone draw here. Mohan against Duffy at the dot. Mohan and Duffy tie each other up. It squirts towards Kennedy. He'll play it for Riccardi. Taken in the corner by Romps.
Oh.
Romps can't feed Mohan there as he falls down in the slot. Maryland trying to corral the puck in neutral. That was Eli Petter. Maryland sending this one into the offensive zone. Riley Rudolph there for the Profs. Rudolph up ahead, finds a teammate there. That's McLeod across to Bowman. Brian Bowman 1-on-2, gets stick checked there by Eli Petter. Back in neutral, the Profs can't handle it cleanly. Petter back there for the Terps again. Eli Petter looking for a teammate. He's got Doherty. Doherty sends it across Romps. Mohan trying to get into the offensive zone. He'll get it there. Mohan leaves on the boards to Doherty. Colin Doherty with a shot. Kennedy with a stick save. Romps in the corner, 1-on-2. He didn't stand a chance on that one.
Yeah, that was a big hit and right into the board.
Look out here. Turnover. Finley in alone. He sends it high. Max Finley inches away from ending it for Rowan right there. Brian Bowman still dangerous on the far circle. To the point, it's Rowan. Rowan with a shot, and it's blocked by Body. James Body skates it into neutral. Odd man rush developing. It's Harnan and Body. Harnan across. Duchesne in front. Body poking at it, and stopped by Kennedy again.
Body, that's
got to be a penalty.
They don't call that, then I don't know what they're going to. Oh. You're not going to call. Are you kidding me? Body, after the play, got pretty much. I'm going to try and describe this the best I can. They grabbed his face mask and threw him back, and they're not calling a penalty. Are you kidding me?
Brian Teske talking with the official right now.
I don't understand what else he had to do in order to get thrown into the box there. It was well after the play.
James Body also talking with the linesman.
That is unacceptable. I mean,
that is rough.
That is unbelievable.
That is
And then even
rough.
after he was down, another player, I think it was Bowman, just went right at him. What is he? That is
I cannot believe that.
That is unfathomable.
He
Especially
grabbed
considering
Body's
what
mask.
they called in regulation.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is unreal.
Bodies was grabbed by the face mask, thrown down, and no call. Face-off win. Teskey with a shot right off, and it goes wide of Kennedy.
I just don't know what else you could – what else did they have to do to call? Take his face off? Take his mask off and, sit on him? I don't know, what they want him to do.
Caleb and Craven and Brian Teskey played catch in their defensive zone. Travis Duchesne now with the puck, plays it back for Craven, over to Duchesne again. Duchesne looking for a passing lane. He'll send this one hard through neutral. James Body gets a deflection, so no ice here. Riccardi around the boards for Riley Rudolph as the Terps are in the middle of a change. Up ahead, he finds Bowman. Brian Bowman, 1-on-4 in the offensive zone for Rowan. Bowman looking for a pass. He can't feed it across to Capecci. At the far point, it's Rudolph. Rudolph down low to Capecci on the circle. Capecci a shot, never got all the way there. Still loose in front, and then Wallace pokes it out. Andrew Wallace, a big-time defensive play there as Pharisee was out of position. Rudolph up ahead, he finds Capecci. Capecci with speed and Griffin Meyer with him. Tommy Pilkington stalls them up, and he is able to get it back into neutral. But only for a moment. It's Griffin Meyer back for Rowan 1-on-2. Meyer takes the shot, and another block for Andrew Wallace. Sean Amon plays it off the glass, but it hit, that hit the stanchion right there and came right back in for Rowan. Really unlucky play for number 26 in black. Grant Warner now collects the puck for the Terps. He gets it back in center. Warner in the offensive zone. He's got Schreibman with him. Warner, inside shot, score! Score! Grant Warner! The Terps are going to the championship!
Warner, overtime winner!
Playing Love Story in Winston-Salem! We'll see you tomorrow morning!
Warner, the overtime winner. Grant Warner is your hero in Winston-Salem. And the Terps knock off number 2. They knock off number 1 in back-to-back days, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
The President's Trophy curse strikes the Rowan Profs. Number 1 team in the regular season has fallen on day number 2. Grant Warner.
Seems like Grant Warner.
He loves playing in OT.
He is built for these moments. Season opening night, shootout winner against Towson.
Oh, no, there's a challenge for offside.
Goodness.
Oh, my goodness. They're going to the review. We can't see the review here, folks.
Unreal.
Rowan challenging for offside. Maryland already in celebration mode.
This would be unbelievable.
This would be a gut-wrenching overturning call if they reverse the decision. Oh, my goodness.
I'm in awe.
The linesmen are standing in the replay booth. We had 2 goals overturned in overtime of Penn State versus Wake Forest last night.
I don't know. I mean, I saw the play develop. It didn't look like
It didn't look like it was offside.
I mean, maybe there's another angle, but I mean, I guess this is why you have the challenges, right? You take another look at it. So we'll have to. I wish we could see a replay right now because of reasons beyond our control. But
linesmen analyzing this play very closely.
That would be the worst. I mean,
Maryland gathering back at the bench just in case.
The entire team was off the ice. There's 3 minutes left in OT if it stands. I feel like this shouldn't be a long review. I mean, it's either on or off.
Yep.
And we will say the longer the review, the better it should be for Maryland.
Yeah, it might just be inconclusive.
Which, if that's the case, and that's why the initial ruling is so big.
Oh, my goodness. The linesman taking a very long look at this one.
Oh, my goodness. This would be unreal. This is sickening, just the thought.
We're waiting. Maryland gathering back at their bench in case they have to continue playing. Rowan has not left the ice. Both linesmen still standing at the review tablet by the Zamboni door.
One of them is.
Referees coming back out onto the ice.
Oh, one of them is.
One of the refs, sorry. The linesman still reviewing the play.
Having a word with Joe Carter, maybe.
Referee speaking with Joe Carter right now. Two of them laughing at each other. Must have just been something funny they noticed. Linesmen still very much reviewing this play. They have not taken off the headsets yet.
The headsets are off.
Oh, wait, yes.
Which
They
should
don't have the headsets on. Or maybe there's just an issue with the video and they can't get it up on the tablet.
I don't know what we would do if they just go get. Oh my gosh.
I mean, if the video can't come up on the tablet, I feel like that should just mean the call on the ice stands. I don't know about you.
I mean, if you see the replay operator is Butch Mounts, who's the producer for the show that is being streamed on AAU Plus. Which, nope, we can go over this whole ordeal with AAU Plus another time.
Linesman
this is
still looking at that tablet.
It's taking this long, and now I'm getting a little.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit nervous. All right.
Every Terp is glued to that door.
All right, now they put the headsets on
so
again.
now they're gonna maybe.
So I think it was just an issue with the tablet.
Oh my gosh.
Now the linesman can talk with the other replay analysts.
I mean, going back, even if it's overturned, Grant Warner with just an unbelievable move. It was a fantastic move, and I think that would be so disheartening. I mean, one moment you think you're going to the championship, the next moment you're playing again, wondering if your season's going to continue or not.
Oh my goodness. They're still looking at this review. They're still looking at this tablet.
Oh my gosh. Everyone in this arena is on their feet.
Except me.
Except Randy, yeah, I am, and I've been on my feet for most of this overtime period. I have been antsy this whole day. Oh my gosh. How many more looks do they need? Oh my God, I feel like it's either.
Yeah, there are 13 cameras in this arena. They might be cycling through all 13 to try and find the perfect angle.
Well, I mean, if they don't. Like we said, if it's difficult to overturn something if it's not conclusive, or not difficult. You can't overturn something
if it's inconclusive.
Inconclusive.
Yeah.
So.
If they're taking this long to try and find an angle, that may signal that it is an inconclusive play.
Oh, my goodness.
Both teams gathered around their benches. Linesmen still with the headsets on. Everybody here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex waiting with bated breath.
Oh, they're playing the song, too. It's just not the song that is being played. It's the one, I don't even know what it's called, but it is
Feel it still.
It's not the one that should be playing right now. This is,
oh my
they're
goodness.
putting their helmets back on.
Yep, the linesmen have come to their decision.
That probably means.
Let's see. Well, they have to have them on if they're on the ice surface. Goal! Yes! Maryland wins! Yes! Maryland wins!
Yes!
The call is confirmed. You can't take that one off the board. Count it for Grant Warner.
And this Cinderella 7 seed is going to keep on dancing. Final boss coming up next tomorrow morning. Hopefully Andy and I will be on the call on TV. We will try our best after this whole tournament is done. But, Andy, take it from here.
Well, I can officially say it now. I said it once before. Kind of showed my hand early. Did not know they were going to challenge that one. We will play Love Story in Winston-Salem. We'll see you tomorrow morning for the championship matchup against the winner of Virginia Tech and Penn State that's about to happen on this ice surface. And for everybody here at the Maryland Hockey Network for this radio broadcast today, intermission report, Bailey Unchester. Color commentator Owen Korzak. My name is Andy Parr, and we will see you tomorrow morning, Terps fans.